Broncos, welcome to the Motor City and the Dr. Pepper Championship Week, where today the Miami Redhawks and the Western Michigan Broncos get set to tangle their second meeting in less than a month and a half, and this time the hardware on the line, the MAC title. So glad you could join us, and what a week to be alive this conference championship weekend. So much fun to be had, so many stories to be told. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis joins us on the sidelines in just one moment. And these two teams, one of just, 8 teams remaining with a chance to win some hardware and claim their conference title this weekend.
But it's going to be a physical game. Western Michigan, they live off of grit. They are tough, they're gritty. But Miami has a new quarterback in town. They're playing with extreme confidence. So I can't wait to watch how this one turns out.
Yeah, the Broncos of Western Michigan from right down the road in Kalamazoo. Plenty of star power in this matchup. When you take a look at the offensive player of the year and quarterback Brock Lowry, the defensive player of the year in NCAA Tucker, and the coach of the year, the former Alabama walk-on, the great Lance Taylor.
Yeah, this team is playing at an elite level. They started off 0-3, but they've won 8 of their last 9. It's been led by quarterback and captain Brock Lowry. It's a lot of run game. You'll see a little bit of pass, but the pass pocket is going to be moved outside. Brock Lowry on the ground is special. You'll see some quarterback design run. You'll see some quarterback keeper. You'll see him just make a decision to try to run the ball himself. But the offensive line, the tight ends, the receivers all help Brock Lowry to get to the end zone.
He's one of those few players that leads his team in passing and rushing. Meanwhile, NCAA Tucker, Sam, you got after the quarterback for almost a decade in the NFL. This guy does it in college, but he's going to be drafted next April.
He has great feel for the football game. He understands that it's not just about the rules of the game, it's about finding the football. You'll see him in the backfield stopping the run. You'll see him with great get-off as well. But, man, I love the way that this guy plays.
On the Miami side, how about a freshman quarterback making his second career start today? Thomas Godkowski. Taylor, what do we have?
Well, Roy, for a lot of guys, if you told them their second collegiate start would be for a conference title, the nerves might creep in. But for Thomas Godkowski, the answer sounded something like, heck yes. He told me this week it was this time last year he was participating in a freshman workout before taking the last bus ride to Detroit to watch his teammates compete for a championship. Flash forward a year, the job is his, and you can tell quickly, Roy, there is no shortage of confidence.
All grit, all guts, with both of these quarterbacks getting the start today in the MAC championship. As Miami, the Redhawks won the coin toss and deferred. That means the Broncos get the football first. What should be a partisan crowd in favor of the Broncos today. Many fans making that quick trek over, just 2 hours away from Kalamazoo. So we take a look at today's impact players, brought to you by Voya. Sam?
We'll start with the Miami side. Keith Reynolds, wide receiver, kick returner number 0. He's going to be important if Miami wants to win the game in the kick return game. But Eli Blakey, DB number 1. He had 11 tackles in their matchup last time they played. Critical if he wants to stop Brock Lowry. Other side, Jalen Buckley, the running back, playing with an injured wrist, but he's an important part of this offense. And then DB Joshua Franklin, he is a jitterbug. So when Western Michigan's on defense, look out for number 1 in the backfield.
Now the Broncos with a throwback running game. Remind you a little bit of a service academy. Case in point, Lowry's going to be corralled at the line of scrimmage. And Miami ready and waiting. It was the great Adam Trick in the backfield.
Adam Trick is an extremely intelligent player, but he's tough. 8.5 sacks on the year. I saw him warming up before the game. He is the leader of that defensive line.
You see Lowry's numbers this year. Basically took over 3 weeks in. It was a big play against Toledo in the comeback on 4th and 10 with a minute to go that set the tone for this season for Western Michigan. And the player of the year as a result of all that grounding and pounding that he has endured this year. Off the option, Lowry finds a crease and a nice gain on 2nd down. It'll be 3rd and 2 as Lowry escapes.
This is what Western Michigan wants the game to be like. They want it to be physical. They want to put it on Brock Lowry's shoulders and get themselves into a 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, so run and pass are both available.
Sam, it is a healthy dose of quarterback power. We saw the speed option that time. And this is where they want to live, as you indicated. 3rd down and short. Brescia went in motion, the handoff, all kinds of real estate, and there he goes. Buckley off to the races. Western Michigan on the scoreboard just like that from 67 yards out. Sammy's up to about 230 pounds. The vision has been there his entire career for the former walk-on, but the speed on full display right as he got through the line of scrimmage. All he needed was 2. He picked up 67. More importantly, the 6 points. And it's 7-0 Western Michigan.
Jalen Buckley is really known for his physicality. You said he's up to 230. He's a bruising back, but he also has the speed to be able to get the edge. You're going to see Miami have a huge gap on that left side of the line of scrimmage, and Buckley does the rest. This offense is a run-first physical team, but you have to give so much credit to the offensive line, to the tight ends, and then to the vision of running back Jalen Buckley, playing with an injured right wrist, keeping that ball high and tight in his left hand, and finding the end zone for the score.
Think about what offensive coordinator Walt Bell told us this week. They had inside drill on Sunday. They had inside drill again on Tuesday. Translation, it was a physical week of practice to get ready for this game. And you could see it at the line of scrimmage on those first 3 plays. Lance Taylor leads the charge, the former Alabama walk-on. He scored 3 touchdowns in his career in Tuscaloosa. Sam, it looks like he can still play a little ball today.
Well, he talks to guys who play ball too. He got a chance to have a conversation with Nick Saban earlier this week and asked Coach Saban, hey, what do I do to prepare? He said, hey, just don't mess it up. Have your guys play with the same level of confidence, focus, and consistency in which they've played all season long. And so far, so good.
Nick Saban calls you. It says no caller ID listed. That's how Lance Taylor knows that it's the GOAT giving him a buzz. And I said, well, how does he answer the phone? Or when you talked to him the first time, he said, you know what he said? He said, what? Hey, Bo. And he knew right away it was Nick Saban. Wishing him a little good luck this week. Now the top receiver in America in terms of yards per reception this year at 25 per is Cam Perry. Only a redshirt junior. This guy is a burner, Sam.
He is. He's 5'9", listed at 154. So you're not going to find him going side to side very often, but you will find him behind the defense. So if you're going to have to slow down Cam Perry, it might take 2 people on him. It may take you pressing him at the line of scrimmage, but he has elite level speed.
Jordan Brunson, the running back. Injured Kenny Tracy, not a factor late in the year for the Redhawks. Gostkowski on first down. Dangerous pass. He threads the needle, and it's hauled in. A big gain on first down of 21 to Cam Perry.
Threading the needle is the perfect way to describe this pass. Thomas Gostkowski is a confident quarterback. He gets it over the outstretched underneath defender and also to the sideline to said receiver Cam Perry. So one thing you'll see with Gostkowski is his confidence. He doesn't mind getting it into tight windows.
Our referee, Rick Ward, with the roughing the passer call. As you see, Gostkowski gets shellacked on the blow-by. And it was James Camden called for the penalty. So it's 21 on the reception, 15 on the penalty, and a gain of 36. The first play from scrimmage for the Redhawks. So just the second career start. You can only imagine the nerves coming into this game. They needed a win against Ball State in the regular season finale to make the MAC championship. They got it. A play like that on first down. Here comes the confidence. Man-to-man coverage and a one-handed reception. Cam Perry, but he was out of bounds. Well, he thought he was able to get the tap dance in. All you need is 1 foot, Sam, with possession, and let's see.
Well, you're going to see that outstretched hand with the completion for Cam Perry. Well, let's see if that foot is down. To me, that looks like a completed pass. He has control. Foot is down. They're going to review that, and that should be a catch.
You may not see a better catch all weekend.
The previous play is in the review.
Our replay official today, Gurry Brand, in his 50th season officiating football, in his final game. And Sam, I'm guessing that this is going to be quick work with what we see there. Our rules expert, Jerry McGinn, is also with us. Jerry, we see possession. He's got the foot down and not a ton of movement. What are you seeing?
Roy, I agree with the whole process there. Receiver does a great job. He toe taps inbounds. He has control of the ball, and he's going to the ground, so he has to maintain possession. So that's what Gurry is going to look at, and I feel that they're going to return this to a completed pass for Miami of Ohio.
We heard earlier this week, Roy, that Thomas Gostkowski is not afraid to throw the ball into tight windows. That's the definition of a tight window. We thought that first pass was a tight window. Cam Perry is covered. That ball hypothetically should not be thrown. When you're going to a guy like Cam Perry, you have the confidence like Gostkowski, you're going to see a lot of balls up in the air.
We're 2 minutes in, big plays on both sides, just as everybody anticipated, and a fun start. Of course, that does appear to be indisputable video evidence with the grab, the foot down. And here comes the official ruling.
The focus. The hang time.
They're still taking a look at it, make sure know where the ball should be spotted. Time on the clock.
After review, the ruling on the field has changed to a completed catch. It'll be first and goal at the 10-yard line.
Cam Perry as advertised. You won't see a better catch this weekend in college football, maybe even tomorrow on Sunday. Double coverage, fading out of bounds, one hand, gets the foot down, no problem. So a gain of 29. And the football spotted right outside the 10 with the nose touching the 10-yard line. That means it's first and goal. They'll fake the jet sweep, and the dump down. The tight end ushered out of bounds is Brian Shane. 12th catch of the season. Taylor, Cam Perry, a special player for Miami.
He's quickly become a comfort blanket for Gostkowski, but they actually started building that relationship last year when Cam Perry transferred in. Gostkowski was the first quarterback he ever threw with, said they've been having conversations about this moment.
What a start. 2 long receptions. See if they want to get Brunson involved. They do through the A-gap. Brunson, a punishing finish. Brought down near the 3. It'll be third and goal from there.
I love the point, Taylor, that you made about that connection, because throws like we saw these first couple passes, that takes confidence, that takes trust. But it's not just the throws, it's also the running game. You can't just rely on Gostkowski this entire game to throw it all over the yard. Jordan Brunson has to continue to be a bruiser, specifically down here low in the red zone.
And Sam, you wonder if they're already thinking about what happens if they don't get it. Do they roll the dice on 4th down this close? This time to the air. Gostkowski at back corner, incomplete. Another flag flies. Cam Perry, the intended receiver. The coverage by Joshua Franklin. And that flag was dropped late.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 0. Hitting the quarterback in the face. Clock the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Mustafi Al-Gharawi.
Yeah, Al-Gharawi is on the interior. He's a big, physical, explosive player. They said that there was contact to the quarterback's helmet. I don't know if that contact was to the helmet. It was high around the higher chest area, shoulders. I don't know if it got helmet.
So instead of 4th and goal from the 3, it's 1st and goal from inside the 2. Extra offensive lineman Mitchell Butler. Reserve center now on the field. A power formation for Jordan Brunson, the freshman quarterback. And it's Brunson straight into the end zone. Transfer from Virginia Tech, 5th-year senior out of Alpharetta, Georgia. An extra point away from being tied up. Sam, we've got 8 total plays in this game already, 2 touchdowns.
8 plays, 14 points, and explosive plays in different ways. This is not necessarily what we expected, at least from the Western Michigan side, but man, what a game so far.
Dom Jobin on for the PAT. He hesitated, kicked it right into the line of scrimmage. Sam was watching him during warm-up. Some of his kicks were awfully low. And the hezi right before the toe was set to meet the leather. And we are at 7-6.
Cam Perry leads the nation when it comes to yards per reception with catches like that, but not just that. It's the running game. So they're physical, they're bruising, they can beat you on the outside as well.
You're watching Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
Well, we are 3.5 minutes in, back of the MAC championship game. All we've seen thus far is Miami's first opening drive touchdown of the season. The longest run for Western Michigan so far this year from Buckley from 67 yards out, and a bobbled extra point that led to the first missed PAT for Miami in 2025. Welcome to MACtion. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, a 1-point game to start, and a fun start at that. All right, so we'll go back to the PAT, and a lot has to happen that many people forget about. A quality snap, a good hold by the punter. Here's Staten, and of course a solid kick by the place kicker, Dom Jobin, and the hold was bobbled there for a moment. That creates the hesitation, and Sam, I believe I did that a couple of times back on JV in the early 90s.
Well, what is it like as a kicker, JV or varsity, when you see that ball bobbled? What do you stop? Do you slow down? What's the process?
You completely freak out. I mean, because it disrupts your entire rhythm. It would be the equivalent of the golf ball falling off the tee on the #1 tee box, right? And how are you going to handle that mentally? It's a lot. Another big gain right up the gut for Jalen Buckley, and Western Michigan has found something with Buckley. He picks up 14 more.
It's not just Buckley, it's the Miami defense. They've struggled, at least recently, stopping the run. And one thing that Western Michigan does a great job of is running the football, not just with the quarterback, but also in the running game. And so Miami needs to be more stout on the inside to try to slow down the running game.
See if they go back to the well one more time, and movement on the left side of the line. Whitenack and Vaughn getting the start there, left guard and left tackle.
Outside defense, number 22 in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Job jumped across. Chuck Martin, his third straight appearance in this championship game. 2 titles in 12 years. We had a great time talking with him as he cranked out about 15,000 steps in the indoor practice facility 2 days ago. Always with an antidote. But more than all of that, just a great coach. Chenault will pick up the first down after a gain of 6.
He's been here over a decade. 3 straight appearances in a MAC championship game. So Chuck Martin knows what he's doing, knows how to motivate his team.
You remember last year in this same contest, got blitzed early by Ohio, lost 38-3. Entirely new roster and set of starters this go around, so revenge not on the mind of the players, but certainly he talked about it with us this week. Over the left side, Ataale picks up 3. Broncos are doing it on the ground. That's what they've done this back half of the season. You mentioned it. They've won 8 of 9. And the offense under Walt Bell has transformed to something that, again, reminds you of what we've seen at Navy and or Army the last couple of years.
It's almost this triple option type of mindset where everyone on the defense has to be accountable to their gap and responsible to trust their technique. If they're not, could be a big gash play.
See if they'll go back to Mataele again. And over the right side, plus territory. Short gain, Western Michigan perfectly comfortable there. It'll be 3rd and 4.
And the reason they're perfectly comfortable, Roy, is that in a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3 or less, you have an opportunity to think you're going to be effective on a quarterback run, a quarterback power. You could pass it on the outside if you want to, so it gives you options in 3rd and manageable.
See the offensive play caller, Walt Bell, former head coach. We asked him, when was the last time you ran this kind of offense? He went back to his high school playing days. It had been a minute. Right side run for Buckley. It'll be 4th and 2 in decision time for head coach Lance Taylor and the Broncos.
And if I'm Coach Taylor, I'm keeping my offense on the field. I'm going for it. You have positive field position. You're in the plus territory. You need a yard or 2. You've had your whole mindset of your team be about physicality and grit. This is the opportunity to show it.
Now, college football in 2025, everybody goes for it on 4th down. Play action, wide open, the pass perfectly lobbed. Brescia's got it, it'll be 1st and goal. What a play call. And a gain of 36 on 4th and 2.
Michael Brescia, the 6'2" tight end. He's in there tight. You think he's going to block. You think it's going to be a run. You got the most running team in the MAC, and all of a sudden, little pop pass over the top. Brilliant play call by Walt Bell.
Brescia, Colgate transfer. There's a quarterback there. Transitioned over to be a tight end. You can understand why. Malik Williams in motion. Lowry, quarterback run again over the left side. 2nd and goal from the 2. And stopped by Blakey. For gain of 4.
Defensively, if you know that there's a lot of this quarterback run and quarterback power, you have to be able to play man-to-man on the outside and maybe bring one extra safety down in the box to try to slow down this QB run game. And so you have to be stat on the edges, and the interior and the safeties have to be able to stop that run.
Halfway home in our first quarter. 3 tight ends on the field for Western Michigan. Grabowski checks in. Play action. Lowry's going to be walloped, and the ball comes out. Miami's got it. Adam Trick on his horse and shoved out of bounds at the 5. What a moment there. Blakey forced the fumble. Trick returns it 78 yards. Sam, you want Maction? We've got Maction in the Motor City today.
Well, we'll start with the leader of the defense. Number 1, Eli Blakey. I talked to him on the field before the game. He said, man, it's going to be a good one. Watch him not just get the sack, but also the fumble. He attacks the football. That ball looks like it's loose. And then Adam Trick, the leader of the defensive line, doesn't just fall on it.
The field was a fumble. The previous play is under review.
We call it scoop and score. The one thing you would have loved if you're a Miami fan is just somebody go and block the running back, go and block Buckley to get in that end zone. But Adam Trick, who had that big-time play earlier in the game, along with his scoop and nearly score, big-time play.
See if he was down before the ball was jarred loose. Big call here, and oh, it's close. It is close. It's got to be indisputable video evidence. Let's lean on our rules expert, Jerry McGinn. Jerry, what are you seeing?
So this is a good stop by replay by Gary Brand. The quarterback, first of all, he could have been stopped because of his forward progress. But the shot that we previously had, it shows that his knee is down and the quarterback still had possession of the ball. I'm looking for a replay to overturn this to put the quarterback down and negate the fumble.
So, Jerry, I'm hearing what you're saying, but what I see is Eli Blakey, number 1. His right knee is knocking out that football, and it seems as if it's almost simultaneous to that knee being down. And as you know, it has to be clear and obvious.
After review, the quarterback was down before the ball came out. The 3rd down at the 9-yard line.
Yeah.
By an
Sam,
inch.
Sam, that was a good stop. That was a good overturn. That really was.
So my question was going to be, is it clear and obvious enough? And obviously, it was.
Yeah, that was a great shot. The camera angle was perfect.
Trick's return of 78 yards absolutely was negated. And so after all of that, it's going to be 3rd and goal for Western Michigan. An enormous swing of momentum in a game that has seen nothing but big plays to start. So on 3rd and goal, Broncos get it back. Lowry wants to throw it. And out of bounds, a little bit of contact, but incomplete to Chenault. Well, the coverage by Yarbrough. It'll be 4th down. And a field goal coming for the Broncos. A little handsy here in the end zone, Sam.
It was, but nothing called. This referee crew was allowing them to be a little bit physical. That was a little, you saw a little bit of a, not necessarily a grab or restriction, but there was contact. I think it's a good no call.
Palmer Domschke. 10 of 15 this season, 27 yards. Just inside that left hash. And right in front of that right upright to make it 10-6. 6:51 to go. Buckle up here in the Motor City. What a start for the Broncos and Redhawks.
The MAC Championship is brought to you by Great Clips. Get game ready for the college football playoff with a haircut from Great Clips.
Yeah, it's cold enough outside to where if you are in Motown, downtown Detroit, great Christmas tree, you can do a little ice skating, Sam. I'd love to see you out there, maybe partaking in some of the festivities later today.
Hey, I'll go to an indoor skating rink. I live in Texas. They got an indoor one in North Park Mall. You know what I mean? I'll go there and try to stay warm enough. I don't want to be in this cold too much longer.
It is cold outside. We are very happy to be nice and toasty inside. It's conference championship weekend. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. We have leaned on Jerry McGinn a couple of times already as he has brought his A game this holiday season, as has the MAC championship. 10-6 to start. We've had points and big plays on every single possession. A couple of freshman quarterbacks doing their thing as well here at Ford Field. Thomas Gotkowski making just his second start. Taylor Davis, I imagine his family's very excited about what has transpired these last couple of ball games.
They certainly are, Roy. The crew is all here. Dad Mike, Mom Heather, all three sisters, nephew Michael, they're all in attendance. I spoke with Heather, his mom, pregame, and of course the nerves were ramping up a little bit for Mom, but she said what makes him equipped for this is his leadership ability. For him, leadership isn't just from experience. It's an innate characteristic he's just always had.
A different personality and a fierce couple of starts already in the books. Gotkowski got leveled again. Man-to-man coverage and incomplete. He has taken a beating so far. The pressure came from Rodney McGraw, and he unloaded just in the nick of time.
Well, you could tell the game plan for Western Michigan is to attack, attack, attack. They're trying to get after this young quarterback and make him second guess sitting in the pocket. We're going to see number 4, Rodney McGraw, with outstanding hands on the inside, and that quarterback hit. Those things add up down the line.
First incompletion. 2nd and 10. Gotkowski will buy a little bit of time and floated out of bounds. Well, a year ago, he basically rode the fan bus into this game as Miami ended up losing to Ohio 38-3. Didn't even dress, in a totally different story 365 days later.
The maturity is showing up for the redshirt freshman. That was a great decision on that last play. There was pressure to his left, so he rolled to his right and just threw the ball away. Outstanding decision on not taking a sack and not throwing it into the other team's hands.
3rd and long is where Western Michigan has thrived this year. It was a big concern for Chuck Martin coming into this game, especially with Nadame Tucker and his 12 sacks this season. Tucker trying to track him down. Gotkowski slides in close to the line to gain. He'll be spotted 2 yards short. Remember, the ball is spotted where that slide begins, and Tucker was breathing down his neck.
Now, so keep your eyes on number 11, Nadame Tucker, Defense Player of the Year. Watch the chase. He's outstanding. But then that slide by Gotkowski ends up being a yard or 2 short. If you dive forward, that's a first down. A more mature quarterback with more experience, only a second start, may have dove in that situation. So Gotkowski's learning. He's understanding. He's still maturing as this process goes on.
Blake Bosma, the tight end, is the return man for Western Michigan this year. Staten will punt it. Turn it over beautifully. He'll try to rocket it over his head. That's exactly what happened. That was the game plan for Chuck Martin this week, executed to perfection. And a punt of 58 yards. Broncos get it back. 10-6 ball game.
AT&T Countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship. Monday, January 19th on ESPN.
National championship will be here before you know it. Back in Detroit, Thomas Gostkowski, career start number 2, requiring some attention on the Miami sideline. 4 hits taken today. That doesn't tell the complete story. It's been smashed and walloped and crushed so far in this game with this vicious Western Michigan defense. Eli Blakey brings down the ball carrier. Another gain of 11. Western Michigan on the ground, Sam, has been awfully impressive to start.
They are. It's a problem for a defense when your safety, number 1, Eli Blakey, is your leading tackler. He has 90 tackles on the season. And yes, he's one of the best players, but you don't want the ball getting to the second level that often. So up front, Miami has to do better in staying in their gaps and not letting the ball get to their safety.
Broncos already over 100 yards rushing. Brock Lowry, attempt number 5 for him, and tumbles to the 25. Well, we asked the question of head coach Lance Taylor, how many times do you want to run Brock Lowry today? And he said as many as it takes, and then took a couple of steps back and said, well, we don't want to run him 25 times, but if we have to, we will, and that's been the MO this year.
But the great part about this offense is that it's not just quarterback run. They also have running back Jalen Buckley, who had that 67-yard touchdown on the first series, who can take some of the pressure off the QB.
Buckley back, speed option into the boundary, tackled at the ankles at the 28, but it's 3rd down and respectable again. Grant Lyons with the tackle after a gain of just 3.
So the last 3rd down, really 4th down and short, we saw somewhat of a pop pass. They faked the run and they threw it. Now it's that 3rd and 3 situation. I don't expect run here. I think the pass is available. Last time they ran it on 3rd down and threw it on 4th down. I think you got to maybe move the pocket with Lowry and throw something to the flats.
Interesting perspective. They execute the self-scout before the championship game. You're going to do some things to break tendency. 3rd down and 3. Buckley the running back, and indeed Lowry wants to throw it. He's going to heave one deep. Out of bounds. There's a flag. 2 come flying in. Yarbrough trying to defend Dudon. Yarbrough is going to pick up the foul.
Defense, number 24. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Sam, that would have been a tough catch. No matter how you try to slice it here. I mean, he was right against the sideline.
Yeah, but you see Yarbrough pulling on that jersey, pulling that arm. That's that material restriction that people are looking for, the referees are looking for. And without that restriction, it likely would have been a catch and maybe even a touchdown. So I don't like that penalty, but it actually probably benefited Miami, preventing a touchdown.
1st and 10, Lowry. A lot of green in front of him. Brock Lowry plus territory. That's a 1st down. Lassoed at the 45 after a gain of 12.
And Lowry was thinking about throwing in this situation. There was a receiver open a little bit on the outside, but he trusts his legs. He steps in the pocket, not a design run by any stretch of the imagination, but he's able to get that 1st down. So that's what you're going to see. You'll see some quarterback power like we've seen. You're going to see some speed option. You're going to see some design run, but also if nothing's there, Brock Lowry will tuck it and get big chunk plays.
Redshirt sophomore Brock Lowry. Transfer from Indiana. On the quick strike to Brooks. Caleb Martin brought him down. It's an 8-yard gain. You got to imagine you're playing with house money when you go 1st and 10, a gain of 8, and you know that you want to run it.
Well, and there's a reason that Brock Lowry won MAC Offensive Player of the Year. It's not just him as a runner. He's also efficient as a passer. They don't pass it often, but when they do, they usually get completion. So that's the difference in this offense. You can't just be so focused defensively on stopping the run because all of a sudden the receivers will beat you as well.
13 runs versus 4 passes thus far. Make it 5. Pitch and go and incomplete. Chenault, the intended receiver. And another flag comes out. You mentioned material restriction there. Moments ago, we saw it again in that pattern. And it was Adrian Walker.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
So Western Michigan, their offense, they do take shots down the field. They don't only run it. It's going to be a pump and go, a stutter go. That huge pump fake, it slows down the defensive backs, makes it think it's going to be a a pass underneath, and all of a sudden they're out of position. That's why you saw Adrian Walker out of position. There he is, number 6, because he fell for that stutter and go.
So this drive now extended twice because pass interference calls. Devin Miles, the running back. Lowry keeps it along the right side. And a stiff arm as he's ushered out fiercely at the 16. So a gain of 6 on the zone read.
I love this play call and play design by Western Michigan. You're going to see Brock Lowry on the outside take a little bit of a hit. But, man, they're still gaining 6 and 7 yards on first down. The game plan for Western Michigan is to win on first down. If they're in 2nd and 5 or less, it's a negative. For Miami, they have to be better early in the downs. That way they can have a chance to rush the quarterback and not be in these situations where it's either run or either pass.
Sam, he's 5 yards out of bounds, and there's still contact with what we saw with the advertisement over there. It's Brock Lowry in a nutshell. And this time it's Buckley corralled. It'll be 3rd down and a yard. Eli Blakey. Lowry's one of those quarterbacks. Walt Bell told us he is the last of the heart. If you think about that statement for a moment, it is very deep and very real. And it describes their connection between play caller and quarterback to a T. In this era of NIL, Lowry used to work out in his gym, in his garage, listening to 1980s rock and roll. It's kind of that throwback player. On cue, didn't need much. He'll pick up the first down. Did you ever work out in the gym, in the garage, back home before you ended up in Texas?
I was not a garage gym workout guy. I need to be around my friends and my teammates workout kind of guy. When I was working out by myself, it never really worked out. But Brock Lowry is different. He's very cerebral. He's calm. He's not overly emotional. He's just steady and locked in. And I think the team for Western Michigan, they follow that.
Extensively on the ground, the 2 PI penalties. A little trickeration deep in the backfield. Talik Williams. And Miami snipped that one out early. It was a slow developing play. And a loss of 5 yards. Uline brought him down. Old number 11, the redshirt sophomore, Lake Forest, Illinois.
Yeah, Brock Uline, his brother Mac went to Northwestern, and he stays patient. He's inside linebacker, so he doesn't get fooled by this reverse. Western Michigan shows a lot of these on tape. That's a great job playing that outside shoulder and then making that tackle inside. Brock Uline has got a chance to get a bigger opportunity because of the injuries, and he's making the most of it.
4-point lead, 15 minutes in for Western Michigan. It'll be 2nd and 15 to start our second quarter after this.
We're back at Ford Field, Miami of Ohio, trailing 10-6. Chuck Martin joins me now. Coach, what do you need to see from your defense against their ground attack?
Yeah, obviously we've got to be in our gaps and not be guessed with the ball. Just everybody's gaps on. The one they broke big, we had a guy out of his gap and went for a touchdown. So if we don't do that, and then we got to get off blocks, because when they run Lowry, they got an extra hat to block. So you got to get off blocks and make plays.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Taylor, thank you. To start our second quarter, 2nd and 15. Lowry gets what he can to the 15, and that's it. Kuwach brought him down quickly. And after the chop, it's a gain of just 2.
It's a critical 3rd down for both teams. But on the Miami side, it's a 4-point game. You hold Western Michigan to a field goal, all of a sudden it's still 1 score. You give up a touchdown, now you're playing from way far behind. So huge opportunity for Miami defensively to hold Western Michigan to a field goal.
Buckley retreats to the backfield. Lowry looking that direction, now takes off. Lowry's going to be sandwiched and brought down at the original line of scrimmage. McWood and Kuwach combined to bring him down. That was a race to the quarterback on the edge. It'll be 4th and 11.
It's almost as if the defense for Miami has woken up a little bit. That first series, you saw that huge touchdown run, 67 yards. But then since then, they've gotten better and better on just staying in their gaps, little things.
So here's Palmer Domsky, connected from 27 earlier today. 11 of 16 on this season. This attempt from 31. And he splits the uprights. 13-6 our new score. 13:43 remaining. First half of the MAC championship. Don't forget, UFC 323 is tonight. T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, the place to be, with a stacked card highlighted by 2 title fights. The bantamweight and flyweight belts are both on the line. The prelims begin at 8 Eastern with the main card at 10 p.m. Eastern on pay-per-view. Buy it right now at ESPNplus.com/PPV. My question for you, Sam Acho, is Thomas Gostkowski ready for the octagon based off what we've seen today?
Or he might be, or he might need to get his weight up just a little bit. Watch Rodney McGraw, number 4. He's 6'6", 265, just obliterating Thomas Gostkowski. But you still have that confidence, that courage as a quarterback. So he hasn't slowed down just yet. He might need to change the weight class a bit. 265 on Gostkowski, redshirt freshman. I don't know about all that.
Gostkowski will get it back. Chuck Martin said he's got to make sure he gets us out of 3rd down and long today. And after the touchback, freshman signal caller gets set to retake the field here at Ford Field. Good atmosphere so far and a fun start. Touchdown affair. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott from our broadcast position. And you know, you expected this to be close and competitive. So far, that's what we've seen.
But I didn't expect as many big plays. I knew that Miami was going to throw it all over the yard, but the big plays by Western Michigan, it's showing that everything is on the line, that teams are giving their all. They're not relenting.
Yeah, you want to be one of those 18 teams still playing college football this weekend and a chance to bring home the hardware. Miami's been here in this contest 3 straight years. Western Michigan hasn't won the MAC title since 2016. Row the boat was in the house. Deep ball, man-to-man coverage and incomplete. Tate Halleck is on top of Cam Perry. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And if that can be the story, somebody being on top of Cam Perry, as in not letting him get behind them, that's going to give this Western defense the best opportunity. Cam Perry is a big play threat, one of the fastest guys, not only on this team, but also in this league. So you have to stay disciplined on the back end to keep him from getting behind you.
Halleck's been playing football since you were a rookie in the league. This is his 7th year, which is hard to believe, but an anchor at that safety spot. The Michigan State transfer. 2nd down. Gostkowski straight ahead, and he got absolutely crushed at the 30.
So you talked about this being a UFC matchup. This does not need to be a UFC. Brock, our quarterback right here, Gostkowski, is 6 feet 189. So that's a situation where I would tell you, you need to slide. Point blank period. You are the best opportunity. So when you're in the middle of the field, you slide. If you're trying to get a 1st down on the edge, you can dive. But, man, huge hit on the defensive side of the ball.
Saipaia able to lay the lumber. And if you're tracking at home, that is collision number 5 with Gostkowski. 3rd and 4. He got what he could. Broncos showing pressure. Gostkowski on the swing, and it's dropped. That was close to being a backwards pass. Jordan Brunson heard the footsteps. It'll be 4th and 4. Western Michigan, this defense taking massive strides this year with new play caller Chris O'Leary. All he did in one season, Sam, was shave about 13 points per game off the average that the Broncos gave up a year ago. He's been a tremendous addition for head coach Lance Taylor.
They're extremely aggressive on the defensive side of the ball. That 3rd down, there was a corner that blitzed, another corner that was playing in coverage, ready to attack. This defense loves to attack you if they get you in a 3rd and obvious pass.
Now that's back-to-back 3-and-outs force by Western Michigan. And the fair catch made by the tight end after a punt of 46.
Talk about this being like a UFC matchup. Your 189-pound quarterback taking another huge hit in the MAC championship game.
Now available on the ESPN app.
Back in Detroit, thus far, Western Michigan dominant on the ground. 9 first downs. Miami's only run 11 total plays to start the MAC championship. Jalen Buckley rumbles ahead for a gain of 3 on first down. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, our rules expert Jerry McGinn, part of the broadcast today. This conference championship game weekend. So many big contests to talk about. Got some questions for Sam Acho to get deeper into this one concerning some of these other incredible matchups. Second down and 7, 3 minutes into the second quarter. Lowry looks one way, back the other. It'll be third down and long. Buckley corrals the pass. And it feels like a big play right now, Sam, for this Miami defense.
It's the first time that we've really seen a third and something more than 4 or 5 for this Western Michigan offense. Miami's starting to play better in coverage. They're starting to add one person to the run game, so you're seeing more man-to-man. This is critical right here for Miami, and they haven't brought a ton of pressure. Let's see if they bring any now.
Dave Buckley, 2. It'll be 3rd and 5. Williams in motion. Here comes the heat. Lowry stood tall, delivers a strike, and it's out of bounds. Chenault leaping right in front of his bench. And a 3-and-out force by the Miami
Number 12
defense.
of the offense must sit out for
We'll
one
talk
play
about
for
the
losing his
pressure
helmet.
coming. Well, this is safety Eli Blakey on the blitz, number 1 on the inside. This is a safety blitz. Watch him beat the running back. He starts outside, he wins inside, and gets a little bit of a quarterback hit, quarterback hurry. And that pressure allows this ball to be just a bit off target.
Warning.
So it wasn't a sack.
Western Michigan, it's the first of the game.
A sideline warning.
So it wasn't a sack, but those pressures add up on quarterbacks. They don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet, but it's huge for a defense.
Redhawks get the job done. They'll get the football back. First punt of the game for the Broncos. No more. Phillips Williams. Clean catch. Waiting on the convoy. Against the grain. And stood up at the 29. Shove him across the 30. After a punt of 54, a return of 14. Redhawks have it. Their freshman quarterback after this.
We're back at Ford Field, where prior to the game, a moment of silence took place to honor Western Michigan alum and Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Nealon, who tragically passed in November. Head coach Lance Taylor was his coach at Western Michigan, spoke very honestly with us about the impact that this tragedy has had. The players are wearing 99 decals on their helmet, playing in honor of Nealon. Tyson Lee, defensive end, was a close friend of his, and Coach Taylor said a silver lining of it was the open dialogue that we have all had across college football, speaking openly about mental health and that it is okay to not be okay, but to continue to ask for help. Roy.
And Taylor, that was an emotional moment in our conversation. Lance Taylor this week. Sean Nealon, the second-round pick, gone far too soon. Tyson Lee set out about a week of practice just to make sure that he was able to collect himself and also honor his late friend in the process.
It's great hearing from Lance Taylor, because he even said, man, Marshawn, that was the first high draft pick that he had, so it would hurt him. But just the importance of that conversation that was able to be had.
For a gain of 8 by Brunson. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Gus Weiler met him first.
I love the early run, the decision to run the ball early for Miami. They've only had 13 plays so far. Initially, it was only 4 runs. So now they're trying to get a little bit more balanced to get them an opportunity to not just have to throw it every play and have Gostkowski get beat up in the backfield.
Miami 0-2 on 3rd down to start. Empty backfield. Gostkowski by a little time on the run, fires a strike, and the pass caught, hauled in by Keith Reynolds. Franklin chopped him down, but he picks up the first.
I love the decision by Reynolds, and really by this offense. They've attacked Cam Perry over and over again, try to get it to him. But who do you get it to now? The underneath receiver, Keith Reynolds, more of the slot receiver that can do it, not just down the field, but more on the outsides, on the edges. So Keith Reynolds has to be an important piece of this offense, because going to him will open it up downfield for Cam Perry.
Brunson, the running back. And another touch over the left side into plus territory. Remember, these two teams met 42 days ago, and kind of a similar script. Western Michigan held about a touchdown lead until the 4th quarter, until Miami figured things out with then quarterback Daquan Finn. He's no longer a part of the program. Western Michigan struggled to get him down on the turf that day, but Miami quite comfortable being the comeback kids against this Broncos team.
And that's Western Michigan's only conference loss. So I understand Western Michigan may be the quote favorite. Miami has confidence. They know they've done it before, and they feel like they can do it again.
2nd down and 8. Crashing through the line. And Brunson to the 44. Another gain of 4 more.
This is the benefit of running the football. Everyone says, hey, man, you got to be able to run the ball. It's say it like a football, kind of just a phrase. But it's important because now all of a sudden the DBs are a little bit more hesitant to maybe be able to know that it's going to be a pass. Make them tackle on the outside as well. So great job by Chuck Martin deciding to mix it up with the run.
On 3rd down, Gostkowski heaves one deep. Little hand fighting. No laundry. It'll be 4th down. Cole Weaver, the intended receiver, the coverage by Sims.
Those quarterback hits and hurries. Number 11, Dame Tucker, wins on the edge once again, and watch him, just a little bit of a quarterback effect. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Those plays affect quarterbacks, not just now, but down the line. It causes you to speed up as a QB, and so Dame Tucker, some of these edge rushers, their pressure's affecting Gostkowski.
4th and 4, the punt team on the field. It does feel like it's in prime fake territory. Here's Staten standing at his own 42. The low snap, he'll punt it away for sure. Bosma, the fair catch, the tight end at the 10 after a punt of 34. Well, coming up next on ABC, Championship Saturday rolls right along with number 4 Georgia, 10th ranked Bama. Crimson Tide now in at number 9. That's a 4 o'clock start down in Atlanta. Duke and Virginia late tonight in the ACC in the Queen City. That is for the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship, and that is where potentially, Sam, the chaos begins if Duke were to pull off an upset, or if Bama doesn't look good in a loss to Georgia in the ATL.
Ultimate chaos if Duke wins. A 5-loss Duke team.
Broncos get it back. Brock Lowry to the edge. Of course, head coach Lance Taylor, former walk-on at Alabama in the early 2000s. And when you know it, Lance, old number 39, scored 3 touchdowns in his career as a walk-on in Tuscaloosa, including a couple as a receiver. Also one, look at what he found here, the Christmas gift on the block punt. And he always pointed to his wristband and a Bible verse after every score and every time he made a big play, and still in touch with the great Nick Saban. They had a conversation this past week, even though it was not his coach at the time. Lowry keeps it. His running back was tripped up and down to his knees after the initial contact from Adam Trick. Gain of just 1.
There's a benefit, Roy, of having a coach who was a player, because he's been there before, and especially a guy who walked on, a grinder. So Lance Taylor, he has that mindset. He knows what it's like to be tough, to be gritty, and he has the experience as a coach that pays off for his team.
He said, I'm a walk-on for life. And I think that's how he approaches his job in Kalamazoo. Meanwhile, Miami, its defense has stood tall again. 3rd and 7. And both units on the defensive side have started to settle in a little bit. Lowry, deep ball, floats it, contact, an easy call for this veteran officiating crew. That's pass interference on Caleb Martin.
Pass interference. Defense number 17. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And Sam, we have seen that way too often if you're a fan of the Red Hawks in these first 2 quarters.
Yeah, Caleb Martin just panicked. He was a sophomore from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He was in good position, but instead of keeping his hands off the receiver, he got his eyes back, but he pushes the receiver. He gets in panic mode. Totally unnecessary. That's some of that immaturity that you're seeing, the young players that need more experience.
So after the 15-yard infraction on 3rd and long, play action, Lowry straight ahead off the fake, and corralled crossing the 30 by Kuwach. So a gain of 4 makes it 2nd and 6.
Roy, you talked about the previous matchup and how this is almost how it felt like the first time around. Miami hung around, and even defensively they've been trying to step up a little bit more this series or 2. But man, Western Michigan needs to open up their offense to get that confidence out of Miami.
Lowry already 13 carries. The offense shifted when he became the starter. Jet sweep to Christian Leary, and I don't think so. Yarbrough stopped him right at the line. Well, this is about the time where Western Michigan heaves one deep. Here comes the PI, and the drive continues. We've seen that now 3 times in this first half, and now it's 3rd and 6.
But the benefit for the defense is that they are getting Western Michigan into 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 7. Obvious pass for the most part. What Miami needs to do on the outside is just not panic. You know that ball might be coming your way if it's a pass. Just relax, calm down, and stay in your coverage.
7 in the box for the Red Hawks on 3rd down. Lowry against the grain, delivers a strike, and that pass is caught. Balin Brooks in stride. Oh, he's going to his left, floats it beautifully, and layers it for a gain of 24.
And Coy Beasley got lost in coverage. He's on the outside, and he's playing too far inside. That's an easy route, wide open.
How tough of a throw is that to make? A quarterback like Brock Lowry. I mean, they've talked about how they're working on the passing attack. He's made some throws in this first half that have been awfully impressive.
Yeah, he's not just a runner. You don't just win Player of the Year just by running the ball. It's the accuracy as a passer as well.
Load up the line of scrimmage. And a jump cut, a gain of 2.
I was talking with one of the coaches on the field before the game for Western Michigan, and they said this is what we want this game to be like. We want to just take as much clock out of the game as possible. So you're seeing a lot of run game, a lot of huddling. Western Michigan's taking their time, and they're very comfortable with the way this time of possession is gone.
Broncos dominant. Their time of possession. Sometimes that tells you a lot, sometimes it doesn't. Lead it by 7. Lele across the 40. And Lolo, under 4 to go. We'll make it 3rd down and kind of that medium range. You can have 3rd and 5 and it feels like 3rd and long, or you can have 3rd and 5 and it feels like 3rd and respectable.
Yeah, and if I'm Miami, if it's 3rd and anything, I'm bringing pressure. I'm bringing a blitz. I'm getting the quarterback on the ground. He's had too much time in the pocket, so bring people, whether it's quarterback run or pass.
Back to the well once more, and the TFL slung down by Uline. Oh, and some late contact on that far side. No laundry on the field after that, so instead of 3rd and medium or 4th and respectable, it's 4th and long.
So much respect for Brock Uline, who stepped up as a younger player in this defense at an inside linebacker position. Got a chance to know him and his family back in Chicago when I was with the Bears. This guy's a grinder. Their family is a family of grinders. Now he's showing it on the football field. Young player, didn't have an opportunity outside of injury, but he's playing in that next man up.
And Sam, this feels like the kind of game we thought we were going to see before kickoff today. It was 10-6, 3 possessions in, and now the defenses have taken over. Brilliant effort, but a touchback for Miami. Punt 42, Red Hawks with the football, trailing by a touchdown after this.
Timeout.
Interesting start there, Matt. We appreciate you on this championship Saturday. Remember that previous matchup, 29-7 in favor of the Red Raiders. It was a field goal kicking contest. And that Red Raider defense led by Jacob Rodriguez, the story. The Broncos defense, the story so far. Tyson Lee, Franklin, that race to the backfield.
Talk about Joshua Franklin and how much he's going to blitz. He's number 1 on the outside. Watch him, he's a corner. They bring so much pressure. So him and Lee, they love bringing pressure for this Western Michigan defense. Offensively, you have to think screen game. If they're going to blitz you, throw a screen over their head, all of a sudden you may bust a big play.
I think about your time with the Bears or in college with Texas, and I can see you just racing one of your teammates to try to get to the quarterback.
Oh, that's it. It's a race to the football, especially as a defensive end. If you know a corner's blitzing, you got to be the guy to get there first.
This 2-minute timeout has arrived at the MAC championship. And Tyson Lee getting the job done with something to say after another big play for the Broncos. Matt, we cannot wait, and yes, indeed, that could be the harbinger of things to come if BYU finds a way to come back in the Big 12 championship. Close game before halftime there. Ball pops out here. Little scoop and score action. Nadane Tucker into the end zone.
Ruling the field is a fumble recovered by the defense for a touchdown.
So there's chaos in the pocket, and it looks as if the ball might even be popped out by one of his teammates. There's a pump fake. Oh, is that ball going forward?
Well, it's interesting because clearly it was,
the
and then he stopped.
is under further review.
Ooh, that looks like an incomplete pass.
He was trying to halt the arm and the movement, and then the ball sprung loose. Let's check in with Jerry McGinn, our rules expert. Jerry, what are your thoughts?
So this is going to be interesting to see what replay and Gary Graham come up with, because the quarterback, his hand is definitely coming forward. That's not a question. So the question is it a pass, or is he trying to bring it back in and it's a fumble? I really think it's a fumble. I think this is a good call by the officials on the field. The one thing we always have to remember, the ruling on the field is correct. So they're going to have to determine whether it is a pass or a fumble, but I like the fact that it is a fumble.
So, Jerry, when I'm looking at that, I see that hand going forward and the ball coming out. So on that replay, I see incomplete pass. Where are you getting the perspective of might be a fumble?
I'm getting the perspective that his hand is stopped, and it's almost like he's trying to bring it back in, like the Patriot tuck rule. But I understand what you're saying, Sam. But to me, he's not releasing the ball as a pass. He's actually stopping and trying to bring it back in.
I feel like he's trying to stop. It's like a shooter that doesn't follow through with the wrist, and you see the arm, the hand rather, it doesn't follow through, and it feels like he was trying to stop the motion. Now, is that enough to change the call on the field? The replay officials take a look. But you know what I'm talking about, Sam, where a shooter is going to release the basketball and the follow through isn't there. It kind of felt that way on the release of the pigskin here on the gridiron, and let's see.
After review, the ruling on the field is changed to an incomplete pass. It'll be third down. Timer, please reset the game clock to 1:57.
I like that call because by rule, the pass is forward if the ball strikes a player, the ground, or an official before, at a spot before, anywhere before it gets released. And so for me, I like that call, but now it's still 3rd and 17, so it wasn't a touchdown. But now all of a sudden, you don't get a first down here if you're Miami. It turns into great field position for Western Michigan.
Two big plays in this half that have been overturned. One went in favor of Miami. That one certainly falls in that category. The other in favor of Western Michigan. Tucker, a tackle, and now it's 4th and long.
Western
and a
Michigan,
stoppage.
first charge timeout, 30-second timeout.
Gives us a moment. AT&T is keeping you connected with our bracket insights. And it's question time as we take a look at the teams that are in position, beginning with Texas Tech and their Big 12 championship tilt against BYU. Could that translate into a first-round bye or home game? What about Alabama? Rematch against Georgia in Atlanta. Tulane or JMU, the better chance to pull off an upset in the playoff. And, of course, JMU needs Duke to beat Virginia in the ACC championship. Last but not least, and I think this is where the conversation truly begins, Notre Dame or Miami, and how does that become a conversation with what transpires here today? Fair catch called for at the 45 and made there at the 42. And why not go a little Acho mine on this championship Saturday? Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, and it makes sense. Notre Dame, Miami, how does that become something that everybody is talking about today?
Well, it's not just that. It's really what happens with BYU. If BYU wins, they're in. BYU's at 11. They're behind Notre Dame right now, but a win would propel them up and would propel likely Notre Dame down. Here's the question, though. Alabama, they're at 9. They play Georgia. If Alabama beats Georgia, I think you put Bama in front of Georgia and maybe even all the way up to the 4 spot. If Alabama loses, will the committee be willing to take them out of that college football playoff conversation despite the fact that they earned the right to play in their conference championship game? I don't think that Alabama should be out if they lose, but the committee might look at that game and let's say Alabama loses by 3 scores or more and say, well, are they one of the 12 best teams in the college football playoff?
Sign up now at ESPN.com. Fill out your own CFP bracket challenge presented by AT&T. And I think the optics of that game are quite impactful. Remember the committee meeting there in Grapevine. Watch those games together. Hosma's going to pick up the first down, and now the Broncos on the move. But that BYU game, if BYU were to lose, not look good, and that enables Notre Dame and Miami to be grouped right together, that becomes a very big deal because then head-to-head matters between the Golden Domers and the U.
But I disagree with that just a little bit, and I'll get to it after the play to tell you why.
I love the art of the tease. And the pass is going to be caught at the 30 by Chenault. He had to come back for it. It's a gain of 14.
Right now, Miami is 2 spots behind Notre Dame. Nothing's changed in this last week. And so if you're going to try to switch them because of 1 week, wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Well, if they get right there neck and neck, then head-to-head becomes a much bigger factor. Incomplete out of bounds. And Brooks, the intended receiver, with Martin in coverage. And was right in the line of sight of that pass.
Martin did an outstanding job in coverage. Nearly an outstanding catch. Just went right through his hands. Just going back briefly to that Notre Dame Miami, nothing would have changed as far as a new data point for the committee to be able to make a different decision. I get they'd be next to each other, but I don't think you make the switch. I think you keep Notre Dame ahead.
Well, the protocol suggests that head-to-head becomes a bigger deal if they are grouped right there and you're trying to just parse out these threads to figure out who belongs in and who should be left out. And Miami has also blown out the competition
30-second timeout
after what was a very rough month of October.
As has Notre Dame. Notre Dame has blown out competition probably at a bigger fashion. They won 70-7 2 weeks ago. Another huge win. I understand under lesser competition, but right now the way the bracket is set up, it's really that Duke and Virginia game because Tulane had a chance to win last night, so they'd be a higher ranked conference champion than JMU. If Virginia wins, they'd be in there as well, likely with Tulane. If Virginia loses and Duke wins, all of a sudden James Madison is likely that 12th team. That's all on the back end, but the front end, I still go back to some of these teams that are playing right now. Alabama could climb up. All this is going to change. If Texas Tech loses right now, all of a sudden they don't have a first-round bye. They're not in that top 4.
This week's college football playoff rankings brought to you by AT&T. Now 3rd and 5, 59 seconds in the half. Lowry tries to buy some time, and he's going to be brought down at the 34. Brock Uline, what a first half he has put on this field, and a loss of 9 on the sack.
Miami, second charge timeout, 30-second timeout.
And a timeout called. And let's see what Western Michigan wants to do. We'll take another look at the good work. Brock Uline.
Yeah, Uline right there in the middle. He's a grinder. I mean, that's kind of what he's always been. 6'1", about 215, 220. And look at that move on the inside. It's a swim move to beat the offensive line. So it's smart. It's a smart football play, but it's a critical play, forcing a more difficult field goal.
You're not suggesting to me that we could live in a world come Sunday afternoon where JMU is in the college football playoff and Notre Dame is out?
I am absolutely suggesting that to you. You talk about that head-to-head, and my issue with trying to switch and flip Notre Dame and Miami right now was that nothing has changed in the last week. That nobody that they're playing is a common opponent between the two, so it's not going to really change their strength of schedule that much.
Domschke from 50 will be his long of the season, and he drives it home and through. Palmer Domschke from downtown. And the lead expands to 10.
Big time play by Domschke. You see the hold, you see the snap. The field goal is good, gets you a 10-point lead. However, there's still about 50 seconds left in the half. That might be time enough for Miami to try and run their hurry-up offense, throw the ball down the field, and still score and get the ball back coming out of halftime. So 10-point margin right now, but Western Michigan defensively expect them to be aggressive because they know what's going to come.
That would have been good from 55. And he was talking a little trash afterwards too. You got to love that from your place kicker, Sam.
Do you really, though?
I mean, as a former kicker,
I
yeah.
feel like just make the kick and move on, man. I don't need the trash talk. I don't want you to get too hyped into the big moment you miss it.
16-6. He's still chapping a little bit on the sideline. A career effort by Palmer Domschke. We've had several wild swings of momentum in these first 2 quarters today. The MAC championship. Redhawks get it back. They do have 1 timeout getting this drive after the touchback from the 25. Well, tomorrow, all comes down to this. Reese Davis calls it Judgment Day. We'll have the exclusive reveal. The final college football playoff top 25 rankings in a 3-hour spectacular. Reese and the guys will break them down top to bottom, unveil the matchups for the 12-team playoff. It all starts at noon Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Anytime you have a committee meeting in a room to decide who's in and who's out, there's going to be some controversy. We will see if it's BYU, Notre Dame, Miami, JMU, all a part those conversations on who's in or who's out. Gakowski couldn't get out of bounds, and the clock continues to wind down. Miami does have the timeout.
They need to hurry up, though. They need to hurry up and try to get chunk plays to see if they're able to get a field goal.
Redhawks will receive the second half kick. Take the safety valve. Josh Ringer, reserve running back, picks up the first down. He dives out of bounds. 21 seconds to go, and the clock stops.
It looks like Western Michigan defensively is actually playing a little bit more coverage. Look, they have their dime package in, 6 defensive backs.
Meanwhile, in Arlington, Red Raiders with a 6-point lead against BYU, Big 12 championship. And that pass out of bounds, and a wise decision by Gakowski over the head of Ringer. There's nothing doing there. 17 seconds to go.
So what's happening now is Western Michigan is just rushing 4, and they're having 7 guys in coverage. Usually that's a positive for the offense. The only issue is on the defense side of the ball, there's a guy named Dame Tucker, who's the defensive player of the year and the MVP of the league. Number 11, he's hard to stop. So the quick game may not work. I wouldn't be afraid to get something over the middle. Clock will stop after a first down.
Western Michigan, second charge timeout, 30-second timeout.
We know this in regards to the playoff. Tulane is in as the American Conference champions, where they were last week in the top 25. The question is, will we have another team out of the group of 5 that makes it? Let's take a look at the AT&T College Football Playoff rankings. Those are your top 12, and the majority of those teams idle today, of course not participating in their conference championship affairs. We've seen James Madison. We saw JMU in a win at Marshall and got to know Bob Chesney and that staff, and Alonzo Barnett III. They are impressive, but you wonder what would that look like in a college football playoff setting.
I'm still thinking about that Alabama game, and if Alabama wins, there's the 4 teams, 5 teams ahead of them are idle. They could jump all the way up to 4.
So many conversations to be had. That'll be a first down to Cam Perry. 12-yard gain. Clock will stop to move the chains. Gakowski protecting the timeout. Simply clock the football.
So right now you got about 10 seconds left. Miami needs about 15, 12 or so yards to be in field goal range. So you have to take a shot really anywhere, over the middle, on the outside. You don't have to get out of bounds right now, but you need those chunk yards. The defensive backs and linebackers for Western Michigan have to understand you're not protecting the end zone, you're protecting about 15 yards.
Empty backfield, 10 seconds to go. 2nd and 10 near midfield. And off the back foot, out of bounds. Heavy pressure. Dame Tucker, we called him the MVP. Certainly going to be a draftable prospect rushing the passer next April.
He has such great feel for football. Watch him go inside, outside. That's a beautiful, boom, boom, boom. And that side swipe, you can't teach that. You just can't teach that. So I love watching the Dame Tucker play. He was a Vern Smith Leadership Award winner for the MVP of the MAC. He has it.
Before the snap,
3 seconds.
Western Michigan, third and final timeout.
And timeout was
30-second
called
timeout
by the Broncos. Taylor Davis and Dame Tucker, a name to know in the NFL as soon as next season.
It is, and it's one that the journey almost didn't happen. He actually told me growing up in Harlem, New York, football wasn't on his radar at all. He was a big basketball player. He said, I was constantly told I had the body type for football, but I didn't want to. He did not put on shoulder pads or a helmet until his senior year of high school. He then obviously got an offer in JUCO, found his way to Western Michigan, and definitely has a good shot at a professional career, like you guys said.
Yeah, the footwork you develop in basketball, I think, resonates very well as a pass rusher. They put 2 seconds back on the clock after the Broncos timeout. Just one man at the line of scrimmage trying to rush the freshman quarterback. And the dump off across the middle appears to be the final play of the half.
Timer.
Cam Perry
Please just set the game
tackled by
clock to
Micah
1
Davis.
second.
And they're going to
Miami,
put 1
third and final
second back on the
timeout.
clock.
30-second timeout.
Not enough time to spike it, but time enough for Miami to utilize a timeout.
So that's the right decision. Get the ball in the middle of the field, but Cam Perry has to know, get down immediately. Don't waste any time bumbling or stumbling. Looks like there was time on the clock, 2 seconds. I thought it was 1, but that's the right call by the officials. But in that situation, if you're a player, catch it and get down. Don't leave no room for doubt.
So Dom Jobin made a 51-yard field goal against Western Michigan earlier this year. This attempt from the middle of the field, right at 58. What would be a career long, and a chance to make it a one-possession game. Broncos do have a return man back deep to receive under the goalposts, and it is no good wide left. (16-6) our score at halftime here in Detroit at the MAC championship game. Let's get you back to the studio. Matt Berry, Joey Galloway, E.J. Manuel for the halftime report.
You're watching Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
Welcome back to Dr. Pepper Championship Week here in Detroit. Halftime of the MAC championship game, 16-6, Western Michigan leading Miami. And you take a look at how it's unfolded thus far. Jalen Buckley, the broken wrist and all, 67 yards to the house to kickstart the scoring party. Otherwise, it's been classic MACtion in the form that we all know, love, and appreciate as the defenses took hold at the end of the first half. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. All right, so an entertaining start, and then the defenses kind of clamped down to close down the half.
And if Miami wants to get back into this game, they have to start attacking down the field like they did early with Cam Perry. The only problem is their quarterback, Thomas Gostkowski, has been getting hit over and over and over again.
Yeah, those hits starting to stockpile after what we witnessed in those first two quarters. But the Redhawks do get the football first, which means they've got a great chance here to try to make it a one-score game.
And they know that the blitz is coming. That's what Western Michigan is known for defensively. They love to bring pressure. So one of the answers to that pressure is the screen game and also the run game, just to keep the defense honest. So expect a little bit more run game, maybe underneath pass game and screen game for Miami.
Winner of this game wins the MAC championship. Hunter Smith for Western Michigan sends it deep. And from 2 yards inside the end zone, Keith Reynolds straight ahead, twisted down at the 17. Now we've talked about start number 2, freshman quarterback Thomas Gostkowski, redshirt freshman out of Indianapolis, and there were a lot of big hits in the first 2 quarters.
He's a courageous quarterback, to say the least. He stands in the pocket, but he took hit after hit. You see guys like Rodney McGraw, 6'6", 265, just leveling Gostkowski's only 189. And you see inside linebackers just taking hits after hits after hits. So that's what's going to have to show up on tape. The courage of Gostkowski in the midst of the pressure.
He has been harassed from the jump. Nearly turned it over, what would have been a scoop and score. For the MAC Defensive Player of the Year, Nadame Tucker. Instead, it was overturned via replay. And the receiver zigged. Gostkowski zagged, and the pass on the miscommunication incomplete.
It's been somewhat of an up and down season for Miami, right? Third different starting quarterback. A couple weeks ago, Gostkowski got in the game. Last week, he got his first start. This week, he started hot, but he's cooled way off. The offensive line has to understand the situation. The Dame Tucker, he's coming after you. The inside interior rushers, they're coming after you. Protect a little bit longer, give your quarterback time.
Tucker standing up. His defensive end position, number 11, brown and gold. Western Michigan Broncos. Inside zone, nothing doing. Western Michigan right on top of it. One of the top run defenses in America. And a gain of just 1. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Roy, you were having a conversation with an Illinois coach who played this Western Michigan defense. And what did they say in that conversation when they played earlier in the season?
Yeah, that Nadame Tucker is a force that is hard to have an answer for. And I've had multiple coaches reach out watching this game, suggesting how difficult it is to deal with what could be a 2nd round draft pick come April. On 3rd down, a pass out of bounds some 25 yards away. And heavy pressure coming. Joey Pope that time from his safety spot.
Yes. I love the game plan by Western Michigan. They say you got a young quarterback, first start. Let's bring as much heat as we possibly can. Joey Pope from the safety position, we saw him blitz. Joshua Franklin, a corner, we've seen him blitz. You're seeing nickels, corners, safeties, linebackers, defensive ends. It's almost like it's coming from every single angle for the young QB.
10 times today he has hit the turf facing this physical Western Michigan front. No fair catch this time. 16-6, Broncos get it back after a punt of 46 down to Taylor Davis.
Roy, I spoke with both of the coaches at the half. For Chuck Martin, you both called it. He said, we've got to find a way to run the ball, and we have to be able to protect Gostkowski. We can't expect a young guy to settle in if he doesn't have the time to do so. Now, no surprise, Lance Taylor pointed to his defense and his run game. He said, we've got to ground and pound the second half. But he did make a point to say, I'm going to remind my team at the half, we had a lead the last time we saw these guys at halftime, and it fell away in the fourth quarter. He said, you will not win a MAC championship until you finish through the fourth quarter.
That's what it's going to take, Sam, because they did have a touchdown advantage before Miami came roaring back. Now, the difference that day, there was a different quarterback. Daquan Finn, his mobility, that was a true difference maker. And an injured Red Hawk being helped up.
It's like it's Tony Coleman getting up after that play.
It has been a physical game. Tony Coleman Jr., the sophomore cornerback out of Alabama. I think the big difference between today and 42 days ago in the first meeting is at quarterback. 26-17. It was Western Michigan that had the lead by a touchdown in that fourth quarter. Give us to Jalen Buckley. Didn't mention in the first half, but Buckley with the broken wrist. I mean, he's been wearing that protection on the injured wrist. Racing 67 yards, essentially untouched. The first score of this game. His toughness for the former walk-on certainly can't be questioned. How do you play football with a cast? On second down, a nifty cut. There goes Buckley. First down and a lot more. Buckley off to the races, and the Broncos on the board again. Sammy 8 and left no crumbs from 64. His first touchdown from 67. His second from 64. That's a lot of yards on 2 plays.
You asked the question, Roy, of how do you play football with the cast? Well, one way is just don't use your hands. Make sure everyone is blocked up. Use your feet, use your eyes, use your skill, your discipline, and your speed. Find the end zone for touchdown number 2 for Jalen Buckley.
Back at Ford Field, MAC championship, 23-6, Western Michigan out in front of Miami. There's a look at the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más Student Section of the Year. Who will take home the trophy this year? Kalamazoo about 2 hours away. Jalen Buckley has been on the move and has actually outgained Miami as a team, and he's got more touchdowns than the Red Hawks thus far by a 2-1 margin. And now question time for Chuck Martin, the 12th year head coach. Given what he's seen at quarterback, is he inclined to make a change, Sam? And the answer is yes. Henry Hessen was getting loose after that last Miami possession. Now the backup signal caller on the field, the senior from Plainfield, Indiana.
Henry Hessen's a redshirt senior, so he has the experience. He got a chance to play a couple weeks ago. Didn't look great, so that's when the redshirt freshman Gakowski went in. But that experience getting back in the game to see if they can provide a spark for the offense.
Big 12 championship underway in Arlington. A one-score game between Texas Tech and BYU. Here at the MAC championship, Broncos starting to create some separation. Jordan Brunson picks up a couple. I mean, if you're Hessen, you almost have nothing to lose coming in. You're a senior, and at this point, your team is trying to rally. You see his numbers this year, and it felt like that Hessen was in that catbird position to start the season to be named the starter, and the offense just really didn't click the way that it needed to at times after DeQuan Finn kind of did his thing. Straight ahead and quickly, it's third down. Joey Pope a tackle. Another gain of just 2.
One thing as a defender, Roy, is you get so excited when you see another quarterback, because you know that defensively your game plan worked to perfection. You took out the guy who was a starter, and now you have a backup. If I'm anyone on that Western Michigan defense, starting with the player of the year, Dame Tucker, I am getting after this QB as much as humanly possible. Make him beat you, make him prove it to you, and show what you're made of early in this second half.
Big moment here for the senior quarterback. Third down and 5. Redhawks need some first downs inside zone. And it appears as if they got it. Jordan Brunson. Gain of 7 on 3rd and 5. Well, that's one way to do it.
This is where the experience comes in. You're going to see Henry Hessen. He checked the play into a run. 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, you think it's pass. You get the rushers going upfield. That's where that experience from Hessen, the redshirt senior from Plainfield, Illinois, comes into play. Great decision by the quarterback pre-snap.
Chuck Martin said something interesting to us this week. He said, if I had a quarterback starting with experience in this game, I would be praying for pressure, because we would be able to handle that so much easier than what we do with a guy making his second career start. Well, perhaps this is the spark that Coach Martin was in search of, Taylor.
And it's a rarity in college football these days, guys. Henry Hessen has spent his entire career at Miami of Ohio. And like you said, Roy, at the beginning of season when he was down the depth chart, Chuck Martin said, hey, I love you. I don't want to lose you. But if you want me to help you find somewhere you can play more, I will. He said, no, I love it here. His loyalty is commended by everyone with the program.
Yeah, something to be said about that in this day and age. Shante Jones, the running back. Oh, the ball came out. It's hopped on by Western Michigan. James Camden. Look at what he found.
So here's the negative of a quarterback who hasn't got a lot of reps in practice, a backup quarterback. You're with the backup running back as well, and sometimes the ball handling issues can come into play. James Camden, number 9, is a defensive leader, but it wasn't about the defense. It was about just a simple miscommunication right there. The ball's supposed to be in the belly, but it wasn't. That happens because there wasn't a lot of reps. Deshante Jones is a backup running back. He's not the usual starter. Henry Hessen, a backup quarterback, not the usual starter. Throughout all week of practice, they haven't been getting as many reps as the ones, and that's where those mistakes can happen.
And Sam Camden, the super senior, transfer from Murray State. Moment that he will remember forever in the MAC championship. Coming in to recover the pigskin, Oscar McWood brings down Jalen Buckley. And a short game. The cowboy hat when you create the turnover. Yeah, that looks good.
Man, he's a leader in that cowboy. You see that grit on the side? That's their motto, G-R-I-T, grit. But man, when you watch James Camden on film, he's always around the ball, number one. Number two, he's always communicating. You see this team lifting him up. Well, he's lifted up the defense so far this year.
Approaching 10 minutes to play here in the third. Western Michigan creating some separation. Devin Miles to the 30. If you're the Broncos, you even think about trying to put the football in the air. You've got clear control, ground and pound attack. It's worked so well this year. It's 7-1 in MAC play.
Not only do you think about it, Roy, you do it. I mean, I think you go for the jugular. You attack in a situation like this. You have a multiple score lead. If you want to, quote, end the game right now, I think you take a shot to the end zone. I get it. Your running football team will use that to your advantage. They think it's run, throw it over their heads.
3 of 9 on third down today. 3rd and just 3 here. Lowry with a keeper. And is going to be stopped after a gain of just 1. An incredible stop by Silas Walters.
Silas Walters is one of the defensive leaders on this team. And watch this. He's the only one that can make this play. He's an edge player. Nothing can get outside of you. And watch him. He does his job. He stays square, shuffles, and boom, goes straight down that line of scrimmage and just hold on to a leg. Outstanding play by the guy they call Side.
So from the 29-yard line, facing a 4th and 2. Field goal unit on the field. Domschke, who connected from 50 yards earlier today. This attempt would be from 47, and maybe Western Michigan wants to talk it over.
30-second timeout.
Now the analytics here suggesting to go for it if it's 4th and 1 or less. At 4th and 2, it certainly becomes an intriguing idea. Don't forget, Week 14 Monday Night Football matchup, Eagles and Chargers, 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, plus of a special Monsters Fun Day football version on ESPN2 and Disney's networks with an animated game transformed in real time into the iconic Monsters Inc. world in Monstropolis. Yes, that's right. With Mike Wazowski leading the Eagles and Sully leading the Chargers. And now after the timeout, the offense back on the field, and here's Brock Lowry.
So going back earlier in the game, we saw 4th and 2. They faked the run. They threw it over the top. Maybe the same thing happens again.
Buckley on the field. Lowry off a play action, now wants to run it. Lowry corralled right at the line to gain, and let's see. Eli Blakey with potentially a monstrous stop, and I think Miami stopped Brock Lowry right in his tracks. Turnover on downs.
Eli Blakey has started in 3 straight MAC championship games. Got injured last year, but this year, him and Mac Uline are showing up.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. And those three things are going to carry on forever.
It is V Week at ESPN when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives. If you're able, give now at v.org/donate. And remember, 100% of donations go directly to cancer research. At the MAC championship, Ford Field in Detroit. Score tells the story, but Miami with a critical stop on 4th down moments ago. Henry Hesson, the backup quarterback, back on the field as Jones is stopped at the 30.
Henry Hesson has more experience, been in this program for 5 years. So what he's doing, what this offense has morphed into with him at quarterback is a little bit more zone read, but more than anything, he wants to see what the defense is in and try to get his offense in the right play. It might be a run from the left instead of a run to the right, or maybe it's even a pass play. So you're going to see a lot of hard count, double count, and then changing the play.
Hesson 7 of 17 this season coming in. Handoff, Jordan Brunson, and a big gain off the right side. Spun down crossing the 40 and give him 13. Tate Halleck credited with that tackle.
Go back to your point, Roy, that you mentioned about Miami and their head coach. He said, man, if I had an experienced quarterback with as much as Western Michigan blitzes, I would love it. Well, now you have your experienced quarterback. You're seeing where the blitz is coming from. All that Miami needs to do is to bust out an explosive play.
Well, that was their longest run of this MAC championship. Just 13. Play action, Hesson off the back foot, rifles a shot that's caught. Inbounds. Colsey into Western Michigan territory. It's a gain of 16.
The reason that play works is that you ran 5 straight zone reads, so the linebackers see the ball in the belly. They see the ball in the belly again of the running back, but no, it's not a run, it's a pass. And all of a sudden, Deion Colsey is behind the linebackers.
First catch of the game for Deion Colsey, the 5th-year senior, transfer from Notre Dame. Hesson also in his 5th campaign, but all of those with the Red Hawks. The 43, Hesson. It was a laser shot. He needed more air underneath that one to Cam Perry. 2nd and 10.
Well, I love what's happening right now. So you're seeing the ball in the belly again, but we saw a little bit of tempo from Miami. Quarterback Henry Hesson is getting more comfortable. The defense is trying to understand, okay, what are we going to see from Hesson based off of some limited tape? Attack, attack, attack if you're Miami. If you're Western Michigan, stay deep because Cam Perry may be able to get behind you.
Redhawks consecutive wins against Buffalo and Ball State, must wins to make it here to Detroit. Shante Jones into a pile. They'll shove him across the 40. Bit of a scrum. But the offense really reached a different level with Gostkowski as the quarterback. They averaged over 40 points in those 2 wins before things got a little stale to start today. So here's Henry Hesson, 3rd and 6. Time for Hesson on the slant. That's enough for the first down. Retreating back towards the line to gain was Cam Perry. Needed 6, he'll gain 8, and Perry found a way.
So the benefit of Cam Perry is his speed, right? 5'9", 150. So everyone's playing about 5 yards off. They don't want him to beat him over top. So what the quarterback Henry Hesson does, he does a couple hard counts, sees it's man-to-man. He says, hey, we're good, and then has that quick release to get the ball out on time.
And you remember Perry had those 2 big plays from Gostkowski to start. Passing game bogged down afterwards. 7th play of the drive. Methodical approach. Still a lot of time left in the MAC championship. Jones stood up and driven backwards. Gain of 3 on first.
So just for clarity, all that clapping that you're seeing from Hessen at quarterback is to try to simulate a snap count. It's to try to get the defense and the safeties to show their leverage, to show exactly what coverage they're in. Once Henry Hessen, the redshirt senior, sees that, he may change the play or keep the play on and say, hey, man, they're man-to-man. Hey, keep it on. If there's a different kind of zone, are we going to change it? Hey, they're leverage over to the right. Let's run to the left. That's why you're seeing some of these claps from the quarterback.
Brunson back on the field at running back. 2nd and 7. Play action Hessen. And out of bounds. Now Weaver was in the area, and it'll be 3rd down and 7 for a team, Sam, that is 22-4 in its last 26 MAC games. This team has been a very tough out, making its 3rd consecutive appearance in this title match.
But I'd love to see a little bit of a changeup. We have a new quarterback. I'd love to see a wide receiver screen or a running back screen, even a tight end screen, to try to take advantage of the pressure. See, they're changing the play now.
Zone read, trailing 23-6 on 3rd and 7. Dylan Moore brought down Jordan Brunson. And so it's 4th and short after a gain of 5.
Yeah, I like the decision to go for it. Looks like they're staying on to go for it. What we're seeing from this offense is intelligence. We saw 2 safeties high, so that means 1 less guys in the run fit. So you run it. Now you're seeing 4th and 2. Quarterback's probably going to hard count, see what they're in, and you see him right now putting everyone in the right play.
Redhawks down 3 scores, trailing by 17. No field goal attempt. The snap was dropped. Hessen retreating, and that's the one thing he couldn't do. Nadane Tucker in the area code. His pressure was felt from the opening snap today, and again, another sack and a loss of 12.
Well, started with 0, Mustafi Al-Gawari on the inside, and then Nadane Tucker with the little inside move, outside rush. They sandwiched the quarterback for the sack.
Want the latest on today's games? Just tell Siri, show me the college football scores.
Well, you ask and you shall receive. 21-7, Texas Tech leading BYU in Arlington at the Big 12 Championship. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis in Detroit. Home of the MAC Championship once again. Western Michigan after the big stop on 4th down. Brock Lowry back on the field, as is Jalen Buckley. And 2 long scoring runs today, really the difference in this game, Sam.
Jalen Buckley's playing with a broken wrist. So he doesn't use his hands, uses his legs and his eyes and his vision and his speed to have big-time scores. That's a shout-out to the offensive line. They're just leaning on the defense. The tight ends and wide receivers are blocking downfield, and Jalen Buckley is having a career day.
2nd down and 6. Buckley remains on the playing surface through a crease. What was the most difficult injury you played through, either at Texas or in the NFL?
You said played through. I had a couple sprained ankles, high ankle sprain, had a broken leg, a broken fibula that I did not play through, a torn pec that I did not play through. But the hardest ones were really some of the thumb injuries and the ankle injuries. I sprained my thumb a couple times, so I'd wear a thumb cast on it. Never a broken wrist, though.
Yeah, broken wrist. There you see the protection. Did a great job, the training staff, providing the protection without it being too cumbersome. Buckley again only needed a yard. He'll pick up the first at midfield. Taylor, Jalen Buckley, quite a story for Western Michigan.
No kidding. The coaches referred to his brace on his wrist as a contraption. I've gotten a close look at it over here on the sideline. I would say it falls in that category. They also have it taped to his hand, but the coaches told us about midway through the season he had a decision to make. They told him that surgery was an option, but he'd be done or play with the brace and essentially be a one-armed back. He was unable to block or ball carry with that hand. He chose that one, and obviously he's making it count here in the title game.
13 touches, 175 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I would say he's doing exactly that. What could be described best as an MVP type performance. Devin Miles into Miami territory.
And it's not just Buckley, it's the entire offense. Western Michigan has had 50 plays so far, 40 runs and 10 passes. That's a 4-to-1 ratio, and Jalen Buckley's a big part of it, but as is their quarterback. And that goes back to the physicality, the mindset, the culture, the toughness. You have a teammate with a broken wrist that's playing through it. Everyone else says I have to step up for him.
Brock Lowry hasn't thrown the football in this half. Speak to that dominance on the ground. Back to the well with Miles, who will spring free for a moment. The 46, Eli Blakey, stopped him after a gain of 2.
And it's demoralizing for a defense when you know they're going to run it and you can't do anything to stop it. I mean, it's one of the most frustrating things because it's not like you're in the wrong gap for the most part. Might be 1 or 2, but for the most part, you're just getting out physical. So the mentality for Miami defensively has to change. You see Eli Blakey, one of their leaders. He's making a lot of tackles, but your safety cannot be the guy making all the tackles for a team that loves to run the ball. It's too many yards gained.
Could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Lowry thought about throwing it. Now retreats, cuts inside to the 45. Kuwach sniffed it out. And a 2-yard gain means it will be 4th down to begin our final 15 minutes. Jalen Buckley has become quite the story on this championship Saturday. Over 170 yards on the ground. The difference so far as Western Michigan leads it 23-6 entering the 4th.
We're back in Ford Field. 1 quarter remains in the MAC Conference Championship. Lance Taylor joins me now. Western Michigan up 23-6. Your entire team was just huddled around you with 1 quarter to go. What'd you tell them?
Yeah, the last time we played these guys, we were winning going into the 4th quarter, and they scored 17 unanswered points and beat us. So, job's not done.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Taylor, the job not done indeed. They had a 17-9 lead in that game. The difference is it was on the road, and today in the MAC championship, a predominant Western Michigan crowd on hand at Ford Field, and the lead at 23-6 after a punt of 37. Broncos electing to punt the football on 4th and 3, and in that first meeting, also a big difference maker in that game, the quarterback for the Red Hawks that day, DeQuan Finn.
And to your point, Roy, that's the only conference loss that Western Michigan has, was to Miami. And so losing can actually be to your benefit. You saw the amount of focus and the intent that the players had on Coach Lance Taylor. They are dialed in. They don't want that same taste to happen again. And so I know it looked bad for Western Michigan then, but there's a payoff in that struggle and that adversity.
Keith Reynolds joins Henry Hessen in the backfield on 1st down. Drive that Miami absolutely has to find a way to score points of some kind, and Reynolds will be tripped up after a gain of just 1. Joshua Franklin got there, chopped him down. Think about the job Lance Taylor has done in Kalamazoo. Year 1, 4-8. Year 2, 6-7. Now at 8-4, and perhaps on the verge of winning the MAC championship. How impressive would that be? And you wonder at what point in time do other schools start to come and check on Lance Taylor and what he's all about. It has been fun to watch, and he was high energy in our conversations with him this week. Hessen looked to throw it, and now slides down near the 13.
A person of high character. That's what stood out when we had a chance to converse. He cared about his players. It seemed like he even cared about us. You could tell why players and even some of the coaching staff are attracted to him. I talked to one of the special teams coordinators. He said, man, we know what it takes to win, and that's what they're operating in. They're not trying to be too cute or too pretty. They're playing with toughness and grit.
Only points in this game for Miami coming way back in the 1st quarter. Broncos would love to force their 5th 3-and-out with a stop here. Hessen sends one long, and here comes 3 penalty flags, one after another, and pass interference coming. Farias Sims trying to cover Cole Weaver.
Pass interference, defense, number 8, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
So Jarvarius Sims is in coverage, and it looked as if it was more of a trip, unless there was something that happened beforehand. You see Sims with his hands up. Usually that's a giveaway.
First penalty since that first drive by Miami. Remember those 2 personal fouls, and Lance Taylor's team has been relatively clean since then. But on 3rd down, the infraction extends the drive and continues to give Miami some hope. Hessen replacing Thomas Gotkowski in our 3rd quarter. And Jones going to be brought down. He'll lose 3. Josh Franklin led the charge. There's a convoy of defenders back there.
Hey, man, he's a jitterbug, man. He's a linebacker, or really, excuse me, a corner, but you'll find him in the backfield so often. He is fearless, and that's what stands out about him. On the other side of the ball, Miami's got to speed up if they want to get back in this game. I understand that Hessen wants to see everything and take his time and get in the right play, but the clock is ticking, and it's not to their advantage if you're Miami.
Yeah, every yard gain seems like it is a task. Shante Jones. Moon stopped him. And quickly it's 3rd down and long again.
Yeah, Western Michigan, they're subbing in their exotic package on 3rd down because it's 3rd and long, so they know you're going to bring pressure. Protection has to hold up for Miami.
Feels like the heat is coming. Now let's see what Chris O'Leary wants to dial up on 3rd down and 9. On the way, Hessen escapes for the moment. Lobs one down the field. Broken up at the last minute. How about the coverage by Franklin? And what a series for number 1 in brown and gold.
I was on the field before the game, Roy, and I was just kind of watching, perusing, and Joshua Franklin, I was watching him doing his warm-ups. This dude has a level of swagger to him and confidence. You see him in coverage, he finds the football, gets one hand up, almost like he's trying to, dunk on somebody, do a poster. He's the fastest, most athletic guy on the team. That's what the coaching staff says about him. But, man, he has a level of confidence to him and swagger as well that shows up consistently.
And, Sam, we were told that he would match up with Cam Perry a good bit today. Best receiver for the Red Hawks. Fair catch at the 22. Broncos will get it back after a punt of 48.
I know it's football, but this looks like a not in the house of not in the house of Joshua Franklin. Outstanding play.
The College Football Playoff Selection Show. The bracket will be filled. Judgment Day is here.
Tomorrow at noon, the place to be right here on ESPN. And that young man, Chris O'Leary, defensive play caller for Western Michigan. What a job he's done his first season coming in from the NFL. Brock Lowry set to throw it. Broncos get the football back. And Brock Lowry doing what Brock Lowry loves to do. And Chris O'Leary, it's been a perfect combination, Sam, of complementary football with this team, trying to improve to 8-1 in the MAC.
They understand exactly who they are. They have a offense that likes to run the ball, a quarterback that likes to run the ball, and a defense that is just stingy and stout. So they don't like to be too cute. They haven't thrown a pass since the first half. They're relying on their defense, and they're relying on their running game and their quarterback, Brock Lowry.
13 runs, no passes for Western Michigan in this second half. Chad Schuster
False start.
jumped the gun.
Offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty, first down.
I love those. If you look at the front of the helmet, that grit, even on their helmets, they are showing what they're about. They're not trying to be pretty, not trying to be cute. It says grit right on the front because that's who they are.
You see those numbers in the second half. Not a single passing yard. But the 16-6 lead at the break has expanded now to 17. All on the ground. Lowry keeps it. Oh, the ball came out. It squirted out late. And a microcosm of this game, Western Michigan jumps on top of it.
So I got to go back to this play with Eli Blakey. Number one, he's their safety. It seems like all is lost. But one player making one decision can change the game. I understand that Miami didn't recover the fumble, but watch him. He does his job. He attacks the tight end, and then he goes and rips that ball out. That's not by accident. That's by intent and design. So Eli Blakey, the leader on this defense, he understands that it's not over just yet. One person can change the game.
He's got 13 tackles today, does Blakey. Meanwhile, it was Talik Williams with the fumble recovery. On second down, Buckley corral. Walt Bell did give us a great quote on the starting quarterback, Brock Lowry. He told us this week, he'll run through your face. And I think that seems to be what we've seen a lot of today. And, you know, that time he fumbled on that second down carry. But he is a guy that has shown tremendous grit, toughness. And in the passing game department, when called upon in the first two quarters, he was 7 of 10. He's got 20 runs thus far. Let's see what happens on third down. Lowry to the air. Man-to-man coverage. And broken up. Chenault, the intended receiver. Caleb Martin, the assist out of bounds.
And Adam Trick on the pressure, number 20, got a chance to get pressure on Brock Lowry. So the clock stops, and if you're Miami, you're doing a solid job on defense, but the tempo has to be increased. Henry Heston, the quarterback, I understand he wants to see everything, but now is not the time. You have to get to that 4-minute offense, where 2-minute offense where you're just going as fast as possible to try and cut into this lead.
So after 15 runs to start the half, finally a pass. It's incomplete. And that means Ryan Milmore back on the field for the Broncos. Turns it over beautifully. And the fair catch by Billups Williams after a punt of 46. Miami football, 9:25 to go in the MAC championship. 23-6, Western Michigan leading Miami back in Detroit at the MAC Championship as we take a look at our College Football War Spotlight, brought to you by the Home Depot, the 2025 Werfel Trophy finalists. Sam, you've been a big part of this conversation with the great Danny Werfel. What can you tell us about it?
Well, so I won the All-State Werfel Trophy back in 2010, and it's the premier award when it comes to community service and leadership. And those three gentlemen you saw on your screen, they are unbelievable examples of that. I'll think about Michael Taff and the work that he's done in fentanyl awareness. You think about Matt Hofer as well, who's outstanding. He does work overseas. Tanner Wall as well at BYU. It's just such a great example of players doing more than just on-field work. They're excelling off the field as well and in the community.
Miami football and the race over the right side. Remember to tune in for the Home Depot College Football Award Show Friday, December 12th at 7 p.m. here on ESPN. And by the way, Hofer's brother, John, appears to be on his way to winning a MAC championship with Western Michigan, the backup left guard, fifth-year senior. Second down and 7.
I just love the fact that there's so many awards that talk about what you do on the field, and that's great. But this is the only award that talks about what people do off of the field. So it just encourages the players of all teams to do more for their communities.
Speaking of awards, I do want to get your take on what could be happening. College football's most coveted award, the Heisman, as Cam Perry make it 3rd down and 1. The tackle by Micah Davis. And I mean, Fernando Mendoza, Julian Sayin, Diego Pavia, Jeremiah Love, 4 names to know, but that race appears to be wide open entering this conference championship Saturday. On 3rd down, Hessen picks up the first. Take what the defense gives him. And Cam Perry keeps the drive alive.
Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker from Texas Tech, could be another player to add, a defensive player to that list.
Officials timeout for an injured player on the offense.
Banged up. Jacob Rodriguez and Texas Tech having themselves quite an afternoon in Arlington as Perry requires some assistance near that right ankle. Red Raiders pouring it on BYU in the rematch. It was 29-7 in the first meeting between those two, and now 31-7. You have to think that Texas Tech could be in position to secure that first round bye, which Joe McGuire told us last week, the head coach of the Red Raiders. That's exactly what they were striving for, as Perry requiring some assistance near the 40.
Texas Tech is one of the best teams in college football. People think of, oh, it's lesser competition in the Big 12. Put them up against anybody, and they are high level, defensively specifically, but also on the offense side of the ball. So the top 4 teams will get a first round bye. They're 4 right now. If they win, they'll, no doubt in my mind, they will get that first round bye and get rest to get healthier, specifically at quarterback. Barry Morton's battled some injury.
Coming up tomorrow, Sunday NFL Countdown live coverage from Baltimore as the Steelers and the Ravens battle for playoff survival, plus insight how Josh Allen honors a special group of fans. And before the CFP bracket is revealed, see how NFL stars stay true to their school. Sunday, NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern, here on ESPN tomorrow. So Perry helped off the playing surface. First down Miami, trailing by 17. Redhawks scored on their first possession. After that, the Broncos defense has taken over. Cole Weaver into Western Michigan territory. And a gain of 36.
It's the benefit of an experienced quarterback. Henry Hessen sees it's cover 2. That's that, they call it the honey hole, the weak spot in cover 2. Behind the corner and before the safety gets there. Beautiful job finding that weakness in a defense. Every defense has a weakness. It's up to an offense to find it, and Hessen found it.
Redhawks still within striking distance. Approaching the red zone. Hessen back to the air. And incomplete. Cole Weaver again. They've developed a bit of a connection. And Weaver had the hot hand late in the year. Javarius Sims in coverage.
And I'm thinking in this position, if I'm Miami, I'm thinking shots to the end zone. I understand you want to get first downs. You don't need to score just yet. You can get 10 yards and not get in the end zone. But you need 3 scores if you want to get back into this game. And so I would take 3 shots to the end zone. Then all of a sudden you're thinking onside kick, etc.
New team for Chuck Martin this year, 27 freshmen, 13 transfers. Really no key starters outside of Blakey participated in last year's championship game loss. Dial up the pressure. Jones to the edge the other way. He raced away from it, and Jones makes it 1st and goal. Now Deshaunte Jones with a spark.
So this is what head coach Chuck Martin said. He said, man, if I had an experienced quarterback, I'd get in the right play. Look, there's a blitz coming from the right, and so Henry Heston has his team in a play that goes to the left, running away from the blitz. The experience is paying off tremendously for the redshirt senior out of Plainfield, Illinois.
And Jones, the freshman from Cleveland, will stay on the field for 1st and goal. They give it big number 14 again. Want to throw it? Back corner and incomplete. Jones at 250 pounds is an absolute force. It'll be 2nd and goal. Weaver back in the end zone. Hessen unable to connect with him.
And now that you are a little bit lower in the red zone, you could potentially run the ball. You could hand it off to Jones. To your point, Deshaunte Jones, 5'10", 250. Maybe give him the ball.
Campari back on the field. From the 6. Hessen back to the air, off the slant towards the goal line. And across, but stopped short. Cole Weaver. Boy, that was close.
You know, all plays are reviewed. So this one, they're going to check to see if that ball crossed the line, but outstanding job on the inside by Weaver, not letting the defensive back get inside leverage.
Rolling the field is a completed catch for a touchdown.
To me, it looks like a touchdown. Knee wasn't down, elbow wasn't down. Weaver fights, claws.
And they are ruling it a touchdown. Chuck Martin wanted to make sure that he heard the official correctly. And you saw in that last replay sequence, it appeared as if the football crossed the plane without contact with the ground by an extremity.
So Aaron Wofford, number 5, the defensive back, has to stay inside of Weaver. Cole Weaver gets inside, and then he uses his strength to overpower Wofford.
A chance to make it a 10-point game. Tom Jobin hammers home the extra point. So a brand new game, a lot of time remaining in Detroit, 23-13 here in the MAC championship. Don't forget, coming up next on ABC, the ATL, the place to be. Alabama and Georgia, Crimson Tide, undefeated against the Bulldogs in the SEC Championship, 4-0 all-time. Gunnar Stockton, some Ty Simpson, and a game that needs no introduction whatsoever. Mercedes-Benz Stadium will be electric, and a big game for Bama, given where it currently sits in the playoff rankings. After the touchdown, Miami setting up for an onside kick. 2-possession game, 6:43 to go here in Detroit. Looking for the high bounce. It does not happen. And Chenault, Avion Chenault, caught it cleanly in the air.
Heads-up play by Avion Chenault. He's on the front line, and the front line players have to be the smartest and most trusted players. He sees that the ball's in the air. He can recover. He doesn't have to block. That's quick decision-making in a really critical time.
2 quick thoughts. If they kick the field goal on 4th and 2, it's a 1-score game. Also, we got a lot of time left, Miami, with all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute stoppage. Do you like the onside kick called there?
I love it because Western Michigan's only thrown 1 pass the second half. You know they're going to run a lot of time off the clock, so take your chance to try and get the ball back.
Leak Williams in motion. Quarterback power, Brock Lowry will run through your face, according to his offensive coordinator, Walt Bell.
Miami,
Gain
first
of 3.
charge timeout, 30-second timeout.
And you have 3 timeouts if you're Miami of Ohio. It looks like they're taking one of them right now. And so the decision, I think, was a right one. You didn't recover it. It's fine. Now you rely on your defense to try and stop an obvious running attack. Use your timeouts. You get the ball back. You score again, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. And you go for an onside again.
Take a look at the last 5 champions of the MAC. From Ball State to Ohio, 5 different champions in the last 5 years. Last time Western Michigan was victorious in this game, 2016. P.J. Fleck, row the boat. After the timeout, 2nd and 7. Buckley, the running back. And dragging a couple of defenders. Another modest gain. Oscar McWood was there after
Miami,
a gain of 3.
Second charge timeout, 30-second
Another
timeout.
timeout. Third down and 4. My next question. If you're Lance Taylor, are you thinking we've got 2 downs to pick up this first and try to salt this away?
I'm not. If I'm Lance Taylor, I'm running the football, and I'm trying to get the first down. If I don't get it, I might even punt it and make Miami go the length of the field. Again, I understand that it's conservative, but if you try to go for it, you don't get it. Now they have the ball at their own 35 or 40-yard line as opposed to backed up inside the 5.
1 timeout remaining for the Red Hawks. Trying to make this interesting down the stretch.
The question is, if you're Western Michigan, do you take a risk and throw the football? No one's expecting that up here or down there.
Let's see. 3rd down and 4. It's going to be Buckley right through the A gap. And Sam, he was stopped short of the line to gain, so no first down, but it will be 4th and about a yard.
This is why they pay the coaches the big bucks. So that was
Miami,
4th and 1, and Lance Taylor's like, oh man,
30-second timeout.
I know we can get 1 yard. We have a new strength staff. We've been working out. They work out so often. They work out the day before games. They have a mindset of grit, a culture of confidence, a quarterback who's the MAC Offensive Player of the Year. And so I still kick it. I still punt it away. I don't know
All
if
I need's a yard.
I know, Coach.
I got Brock Lowry.
I know, Coach. But if you don't get it, now all of a sudden they get 30 yards, they kick it. I would kick it.
It feels like this is the game. A stop in Miami with momentum and the football back. Western Michigan converts, and the offense is on the field. Miami out of timeouts. So here we go. Buckley, the running back. Lowry out of the shotgun once again. Power formation on 4th and short. Lowry gonna keep it, and he threw the football high into the flats, trying to spot his tight end, and Bosma could not reach up to grab it.
Lance Taylor had the perfect play call, but just an errant pass. Blake Bosma's in the flat, your most trusted tight end / receiver, and Brock Lowry just overshoots him. Perfect play, errant throw.
Redhawks get it back. Lowry can't believe it. Lance Taylor must be thinking, here we go again. And let's see what happens now. So the plot thickens in Detroit. Still a lot of time left.
Henry Heston, quarterback, has to understand, don't force anything. Take a little bit more time to get it right.
Four-man front for the Broncos. Here they come. Heston, dangerous pass, tipped twice, and incomplete. Josh Franklin almost tipped it right to the receiver. Instead, it's 2nd and 10.
And here's what I mean. Your defense has just stood up for you. Now it's your chance. You don't need a touchdown right now. You have 6 minutes left. You can get a field goal, another onside kick. You need a touchdown and a field goal anyway, so don't force it offensively. Understand that the defense is likely going to rush with just 4. They don't need a blitz just yet. Slow down number 11 on defense. If you're Miami, you got to slow down to Dame Tucker, the defensive player of the year.
It's a backup quarterback, a backup running back. Injuries galore for the Redhawks. Still in it. On 2nd down, Heston. Crosser is incomplete. No, right on top of him, the coverage. Aaron Wofford. And pressure coming from the Dame Tucker again.
He has great feel for just football. He just runs to where there's space. He runs to where there's green grass. From Harlem, New York, the defensive MVP, the Vern Smith Leadership Award winner, which is MVP of the entire MAC. Number 11 is the only person you have to stop. I would recommend having a second guy try to slow him down.
Easier said than done on 3rd and long. Broncos showing pressure. Heston sensing that pressure. Heat's on the way. Heston off the pump fake. And it's out of bounds. 4th down.
The second miscommunication we've seen from quarterback to receiver. Remember, Henry Heston is a backup quarterback, came in the second half, didn't get a lot of reps this week in practice. But now, you said the earlier was the game on the line. This is the game. This is 4th and the game. Chuck Martin, the head coach, is trying to figure out what to do.
Big moment in the MAC championship. Broncos call a timeout.
Western Michigan, first charge timeout, 32nd timeout.
Gives us a moment to remind you, coming up next on ABC, Championship Saturday continues.
Western Michigan.
Georgia and Alabama. A showdown in the SEC in Atlanta. Then tonight, Duke and Virginia in the ACC. Both games on ABC. And the Big 12 is done with BYU falling to Texas Tech 34-7 in Arlington. So Sam, that paves the way for some controversy. BYU, you would have to guess, is now out of the 12-team field. What does that mean for some of the teams that are trying to sneak up and get in, like Miami and others?
And what it does do, it secures a first-round bye week for Texas Tech. But now 4th and the game on the line, I expect heat from Western Michigan.
Where is Nadame Tucker? Here he comes off the edge. Down goes the quarterback. There's no answer for Nadame Tucker.
So he came in with 12 sacks, and watch him on the edge. Use his speed and just a chop, simple chop, and that's what you want to do as an offensive lineman. You hate it because he's faster than you, that he has the hands, the quickness, the agility, the acceleration. And Dame Tucker from Harlem, New York, the defensive player of the year in the MAC, the MVP of the MAC, is showing why he's winning all of the awards.
And you see the numbers today in the biggest game of the season. Sam, he probably made himself some money for next year's NFL draft. The Combine's going to tell us a lot. To get an invitation to the Senior Bowl, the answer should be yes. But he is an absolute harbinger of chaos. Into the flats. And a first down on the grab. Brescia able to race virtually untouched towards the line to gain. Well, Miami, give the Redhawks credit. They were the hang-around team with a backup quarterback, fourth-string running back, emerging late in the season. Lance Taylor, this Western Michigan bunch, on the verge of winning their first MAC championship since 2016. Jalen Buckley to the 15.
And as an offense, you have to tell everyone 2 hands on the football. It might be hard with the running back who has a broken wrist, but that's part 1 on offense. On defense, you're saying go get the rock, strip at it, punch at it, find a way to get the football, because in your mind defensively it's not over yet.
Now Buckley has created the big plays on offense. Tucker with the massive plays on defense. And Jalen with 188 yards rushing. Those 2 long runs essentially the difference for Western Michigan today.
The Broncos are going to take as much time as they can on all of these snaps.
Buckley again shoved the pile to the 10. Close to another first down. And that will move the sticks. Second most rush yards in a MAC championship now at 193.
Brock Lowry saying, huddle it up, take your time. They might break this huddle with about 12 or so seconds, get to the line, and hand it off to number 6, who's having a career day.
Now Lowry was identified by both of these teams in the recruiting process. Chuck Martin told us he was essentially at the top of their board at quarterback. Ends up signing with Indiana. Once he was in the portal, Western Michigan jumped all over. And his toughness and grit, huge reason why things have changed in Kalamazoo. And the ball came out. Redhawks think that they jumped on top of it. No indication yet.
Ruling the field is a fumble recovered by the offense. Second down.
I told you the defense is saying, hey, we got to get the football. The offense, 2 hands on the ball. Right here, you see that ball. You see Adam Trick, he punches it out. He gets his hand out there, and Brock Lowry's around it to recover it. But I understand that fans at home might say, oh, the game is over, we didn't get it. The defense says, no, we have control of this. So Lowry has great awareness. See Adam Trick, one of the leaders of the defense, 6'4", 249, redshirt junior from Dayton, Ohio, punches it out.
We mentioned he'll run through your face, and that time he stuck his face right into the pile to make sure there was no turnover. And on 2nd and goal, Lowry straight ahead. You think about the Broncos and some of their legends over the years, the late John Saunders, played hockey in Kalamazoo in the mid-70s. Terry Crews, standout football player, actor, and played back in the late 1980s. Greg Jennings, standout performer in the early 2000s.
Braden Fisk was here before he transferred as well. Current NFL stars.
Fisk ended up at Florida State.
Correct. The LA Rams.
Anchor in the middle. 3rd down and goal, Lowry with the cut down to the 5. All right, so leading by 10, and Western Michigan take this one all the way down to the 2-minute timeout. You got 4th and goal from the 5. Field goal, still a 2-possession game.
Yeah, I take it down to the 2-minute timeout, and then I run a play. I'm not kicking a field goal. I don't care if I run it or pass it, but I run a play because a field goal for me doesn't do too much for offense.
2-minute timeout as we step aside at Ford Field in Detroit.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
The SEC Championship getting set to kick off coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern. Kayla DeBoer in the pinstripe suit. Ty Simpson leading the charge against the Georgia Bulldogs. Gunnar Stockton, what a year he has put together. Back in Detroit on 4th and goal. They'll run the fake towards the goal line, reaching across and spotted just short is Ryan Milmore. Well, the punter slash holder.
As a runner short of the goal line. First down for Miami.
Try to soft this one away. Miami's going to get it back from inside its own 1-yard line.
Surprising call, but nearly executed to perfection. Watch Milmore just cut up field and try to get to the end zone a few inches short.
Now 42 kind of prevented him from doing that. Silas Walters also did a great job for the Redhawks. And Milmore all smiles. The great effort by the punter. The key there too, Sam, is to make sure when you receive the hold that the knee's not on the ground and the play's whistled dead.
This is true.
And he did that, right?
This is true. And now they go into what we call the black zone, backed up situation. So expect hard count. Western Michigan needs to say earmuffs. Don't jump off sides. It'll be a free play. Henry Hesse needs to hard count as much as possible to try and get a free 5 yards.
Still a 2-score game, but 99 yards to go to make it a 1-score affair. Isom spun around. Felt like he had real estate in front of him, and that pass was out in front, and it was not. And Chuck Martin, year 12, 2 MAC titles on the resume already. 3rd consecutive appearance in this game. He had high hopes coming in. Only team that has defeated Western Michigan this year in the MAC. Has not happened today. Hessen, the comeback, and it was dropped. Cam Perry turned around, and the ball was right between the shoulder pads.
It's the right play, just the timing just a little bit off. Henry Hessen gets sped up just a bit. He sees the blitz, and Perry's got to catch that one. But I can understand, man, as soon as you turn around, the ball's on you quick. I can see them going back to that. Everyone's playing off of Cam Perry because of his speed. Run another comeback just like that. Perry may get to it the next time.
3rd down. Pressure, Hessen. Oh, and it's caught. Cole Weaver reached behind him and was able to haul it in, a gain of 23.
Weaver's been the go-to receiver, the go-to tight end for Henry Hessen. They have a relationship. You can see it. Outstanding job with one hand.
Out of timeouts. Redhawks back to work. Gobbled up again is Hessen and driven down. Another sack. Kershawn Fisher. And Tucker was in the area again, and this Western Michigan front 4 is relentless.
Both of those ends can go. Kershawn Fisher, number 20. You start watching the Dame Tucker, number 11, you think it's all about him? No, watch the other guy as well, number 20, Kershawn Fisher. Both those guys love to hunt after a quarterback.
And a loss of 8. Miami out of timeouts. Hessen has to go deep again. The receiver was behind the defense. Isom had a path to the end zone, and he fell down.
And that's just another miscommunication. It was wide open. Isom was wide open and just missed it. Going back to that last sack, you see the inside move on the right side. Outstanding job in pass rushing by Kershawn Fisher. It's obvious pass, so that's when defensive ends love to get after a QB.
Sam, if Isom doesn't trip up over the turf monster, he's still running. 3rd down and 18. And Hessen on the move. Incomplete near midfield. Holsey was in the area. Unable to turn around. And one more play, one last gasp for the Redhawks. Strong contingent of Bronco fans in the house today in Detroit.
Western Michigan Third and
Lance
final
Taylor.
timeout. 30-second timeout.
No stone unturned in this MAC championship. We'll talk things over with his defense one last time.
Yeah, 4th and 18. I love the decision to call a timeout because you're thinking, all right, no penalties, number one, and number two, change your alignment just a little bit. Don't be too close to the line of scrimmage if you're a linebacker. Back up to about 10, 15 yards. Safeties can be back there as well. And then trust your pass rush. Trust number 20, Kershawn Fisher. Trust number 11, the Defensive Player of the Year, 14 sacks on the season in the Dame Tucker. Let those guys hunt. Offensively, you might need to keep 7 in protection. A tight end and a linebacker to give your quarterback, Henry Hessen, the backup time.
55 seconds to go. 4th down and 18. Hessen floats one long again. Double coverage. Incomplete. And there are no flags. Broncos will take over. Lance Taylor on the verge, winning the first MAC championship, bringing that hardware back to Kalamazoo. First time since 2016. And Sammy told us this week, you know, he had a meeting with the team leaders and the seniors before spring practice. And he asked them the question, what went wrong last year? We were 6-7. We could have been better. What do we need to do this year to win the championship? Well, they figured it out. Principles built on physicality, the ground game, and all of that and more equating to a MAC championship.
He's the coach of the year in the MAC. They have the offensive player of the year, the defensive player of the year, and he'd be the first one to tell you it's a team award.
That will do it. Let the party begin in Kalamazoo. Western Michigan MAC champions in 2025.
This is the end of the 4th quarter.
Down to Taylor Davis with the winning coach, Lance Taylor.
Thank you, Roy. He's drying off right now. You just got the Gatorade bath from your team, Mid-American Conference champions. How does this one feel?
All glory to God first. How about them Broncos? You know, we started out 0-3 and everybody counted us out. They buried us. They said we were dead. We got a group of fighters. They're a heart of a champion. It's never been pretty, but it was sure as hell gritty.
I was going to say your motto all season has been about grit, resiliency, intensity. How was that on display in Ford Field today?
Yeah, I mean, these kids poured it out, poured their heart out. They gave everything that they had. And when you have a special bond off the field, it shows up on the field. They played today for their brothers.
You're taking the first MAC title back to Kalamazoo for the first time in 2000. Since 2016, you've raved about how much that community loves this football program. What does it mean to you to be able to give that to the culture?
Yeah, it means everything. This is why I came here. This was one of our goals, was to do this, bring the championship back to Kalamazoo. We had a great crowd today that showed up and showed out for us. They are great fans, the best fans in the MAC, and I appreciate them.
Mission accomplished. Congrats.
Thank you. Go Broncos.
23-13, the final score. And the first MAC championship for Western Michigan since 2016. Sam Acho and Taylor Davis. I'm Roy Philpott. Let's get you back to the studio. You'll also see the trophy presentation here in Detroit in a few minutes as well.